Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
Hello and welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux, and today we are going to be bringing you another Homebuyer Workshop. We have been doing these about every 6 weeks now, trying to make sure that anybody that is out there that has been thinking about buying a home has all of the information that they need, all of the tools, understanding all of the words and what do those words mean, right? What are we talking about? So that is what we are doing today. It is the Homebuyer Workshop. Again, I am Debbie Marcoux. I want you guys to be interactive. I want you to be part of the show. So make sure that you are putting your questions into the feed, you are commenting, and we are going to read those out loud and answer them for you. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to just the Mortgage Mom Radio logo just for 1 minute to just let everybody that wants to be part of the show today be able to join. So please don't go anywhere. Just stay tuned. Hold tight. We're going to let this sit here just for 1 minute to let everybody jump on. We just had the text message go out with the virtual link, and I want to give everybody the opportunity to join. So once again, all of your questions, your feedback, your comments, we want them. Please go ahead and put them in the feed. Let me know that you are here, and we are going to play some games today as well to give you guys the opportunity to win some t-shirts, as well as the possibility you could win the final prize, the big grand prize of a free appraisal for your transaction. So stay tuned, hold tight, don't go anywhere. 1 minute, we're going to sit here. We'll be right back. All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux, and I am the Mortgage Mom, and today I am bringing you our Homebuyer Workshop. We're going to start at the beginning, and we are going to work our way all the way through closing. So that is going to encompass everything that you need to know. We're going to go through some terms and definitions. We're going to talk about closing costs, getting yourself pre-approved. We're going to talk about your closing disclosure, picking your real estate agent. Once you get into escrow or you've got your contract signed, so you may not be in escrow state, this show is going across the nation, but this is going to relate to everybody. And if you are in a particular state, let me know that you're out there and you're watching. You're more than welcome to ask me questions. We are licensed in 13 different states, or I am licensed in 13 different states. So if you happen to be in a state that I am not licensed in, I will absolutely tell you that I don't know the answer if that is the case. So we do want to make sure that you're getting the correct information. But as far as loan programs go, what is available, down payments, things of that nature, all of that information is going to stay the same across the nation. So here we go really quick. We're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. So as you guys can see, you've got my name there, Debbie Marcoux, my license number. I am a licensed loan officer with the NMLS, which is the National Mortgage Licensing Service. And you guys have what you need there to find me if you wanted to check into me and my history. So on your screen, you guys will see that I have the Mortgage Mom Radio phone app. As I mentioned right before we went to the blank screen, is that we are going to be playing some games today. In order to play, you guys do not need to have our phone app. Now, there are two phone apps for Mortgage Mom Radio. One is actually in the App Store or the Google Play, and that is not where you're going to get the app that we are utilizing today. The app that I am talking about is my Tools app. It is not the app that we use for you once you are in process and you are in the middle of a loan application. You're not utilizing this for those reasons. You're not signing disclosures. This is 100% a tool app. This is so that you've got the tools at your fingertips to shop for a home. This phone app is awesome for real estate agents and buyers both. If you're thinking about refinancing your home and you're a homeowner, this application works for you as well. It's got some really great calculators in there. You can listen to the YouTube. You can watch the homebuyer presentation again down the road. If you want to re-listen to something that I said, you can contact us through this app. Really super cool, but the calculators are pretty awesome. And to play the game, to win your t-shirts, you guys need to have this. So in order to get it, you are going to text the word mom to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. If for any reason you text that and it does not work for you, then just go on over to our website. Go to mortgagemomradio.com and there is a button where you can get the phone app there. You can also put your comment into the feed and let us know that you can't get the app, and then I will have Heather, who's here helping me today. She will actually be able to text you back. So just please, if you can't get it for some reason, let us know. The only time I've seen that happen is if you have actually texted us before. So you won't get that automated first reply with the link to that phone app. But all you're going to do is text the word mom to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. You'll click on the link, you'll save it to your home screen, and there you are, you're up and running. You do, I believe, have to register, but you will be able to play the games with us. But this is an amazing tool for you guys. You've got it at your fingertips as you're looking through Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, I believe it's Trulia, all of the different websites that would be letting you window shop. This is going to help you to realize whether or not the property is affordable for you. It's going to run all of those payments with mortgage insurance. So if you do not have 20% down and you're looking at doing an FHA loan, or you're looking at doing a USDA, conventional, it is going to actually calculate that mortgage insurance. If you are a veteran and you are using a VA loan, it will also calculate that upfront fee that you will pay, that funding fee. And it actually will let you select whether or not you are considered disabled, so that it does not calculate the funding fee into the monthly payment. So very, very good tool for you to have. Plus, you can contact us, check out our Facebook, watch our YouTubes, all that stuff. This is your tool app. So make sure that you guys are there and ready. So before I jump on, go to the next screen, I just want to remind everybody that this is interactive. We want you to talk to us. We want you to let us know that you're there. I want you to ask questions. It's very, very important. If you have a question, chances are someone else has the same question. And if you can be the bigger person who's not scared to reach out and ask that question, you are helping everybody along the way. So Heather did jump on. She says, hi, everyone. She's sitting right here next to me. Again, if for some reason you cannot get the phone app, please let us know. Throw something into the feed and we will make sure that we get it to you. I'll send Heather over to the other computer and get you out that link directly. Ken jumps on. He says, "What up, y'all?" Ken, nice to see you there. And we've got Heather and Ken are talking to each other. Ken says, "I want to buy a rental house in Tampa." Ken, Florida is the hot state right now, and we can absolutely help you in Florida. So we would love to get you up and rolling there as well. So let's go ahead and move on to the next page. This is just basically how do you contact Mortgage Mom Radio. Guys, we are everywhere. If you type Mortgage Mom Radio, you will find us. Chances are you can put Mortgage Mom and I'll probably come up somewhere within that feed, whichever server it is that you're using. But if you don't forget that radio, you are going to find us. So Mortgage Mom Radio, guys, we are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We're putting everything everywhere that we possibly can. And one thing that I do want to ask everybody here at the beginning is, number one, please give me a thumbs up if you guys are on right now and you're watching. That really does help us with the algorithm, with, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all of them. If people are watching and enjoying it, please give us that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed or followed us yet, please do that for me as well. That would be very helpful. And one more thing I do want to mention is, if you have any questions whatsoever, we want to be your first phone call. We are always happy to get you pointed in the right direction if your scenario is one that we cannot help you with, but we want to be your first phone call. We're doing these workshops for you guys. We're coming in on a Sunday at 1:00 in the afternoon to bring you that information. We've got the radio show going, the podcast, the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're putting everything everywhere that we can. And that does take money to make sure that we're getting that education and updated information and news out to you, about mortgages and the financial market. So the only thing that we ask is that we are your first phone call. So please call us with anything and let us get you pointed in the right direction if it's not something that we can do here for you at Mortgage Mom Radio. So Nora jumps on. So thank you so much for the thumbs up. Diane jumps on. She says, "Hi, thumbs up." Again, thank you all for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Please make sure that you guys put those questions into the feed when we start getting into the good stuff. One thing I do want to mention is, if anybody is watching through Facebook or Twitch, because I've got the PowerPoint up in front of me and I'm looking down at my phone to see the YouTube comments and questions, I can't see Facebook or Twitch right now. So Mikey, you're going to have to stop me and let me know if you see somebody make a comment through one of those platforms. Okay, Mikey? Okay, thank you. All right, so here we go. Real estate buzzwords. We're going to get into this because what in the heck are they talking about? This is where we're going to get started. This is for people that have never done this before, or if it's been 5 or 6 years or longer since you have bought or sold a home. These are very important terms for you guys to be aware of and to understand what in the world it is that we are talking about. So I'm not going to go through every single word that is on this list. It would take us forever. I've actually got 2 full sheets, and I'm trying to make this a little bit quicker today so that you're not stuck here on the channel for a solid 3 hours throughout the presentation. But I am going to point out some of them, and I'm going to leave this here on the screen as I talk because I want you to be able to refer back to this workshop again later. It's going to stay here on YouTube forever. It is going to stay on Facebook forever. So you guys can always go back and watch it again. Be more than happy if you want to reach out to the office and ask us to send you the link so that you don't lose it. We would be happy to do that for you as well. So these are really, really important, words, really important for you guys to know what they mean. We talk in a lot of, shortened formats in mortgage. So sometimes we might say something that doesn't necessarily make sense to you. So for example, your appraisal is something that we are going to order for you on your behalf. The lender has to order it. The bank has to order it, the bank doing the appraisal. This is not your physical inspection. This is not a contractor checking out your home, the home that you're purchasing to see if it is in good shape, letting you know what things are not working. This is the appraiser's opinion of value. So that is very important for you guys to understand that this is different than a physical inspection. And I'm looking down, no new comments. So again, I'm going to continue to look down to make sure I'm answering those for you. I want you to know that this is interactive and you guys can put your questions in the feed. So your closing disclosure, otherwise referred to as a CD. So you're going to hear, well, have you signed your CD yet? The closing disclosure must be signed 3 days prior to you signing your final loan documents to close your loan. This is very important. So if you are in the middle of a transaction right now, you are purchasing a home, you're supposed to be closing on Tuesday, and you haven't signed a closing disclosure yet or your CD, you are late. You are not closing on time. You are not getting your keys when you expect to get them. So make sure that you are very mindful of that. It is a final disclosure that you will receive from your lender confirming everything you have been talking about throughout the transaction. The final price, the final appraised value, the final interest rate, the breakdown of all the closing costs, what your monthly payment will be, the verified property taxes, the homeowner's insurance policy that you shopped for. It's now showing you that cost. It is giving you everything that you have worked for throughout that, 20 to 30 days that you have been in process to get this loan. So keep that in mind. Closing disclosure, very, very important that you guys are mindful of when you receive it, and make sure that you sign it as soon as you get it, because the clock does not start until your signature is on that form. Many of these don't really, they're just little things like docs. I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory. There are 8 escrow states in the country. 8 of those states, like I said, are escrow states. That is a third party, neutral third party who is taking information from all sides of the transaction, from the seller, from the buyer, from the lender, from the realtors. They are the neutral third party that is running the information. They cannot do anything without all parties agreeing and giving them instruction. In many states, though, you'll find title states, and there will be other states that are attorney states. And depending on the state that you are buying your home in, the title company would be acting as an escrow officer would be, as a neutral third party. And in an attorney state, the seller will actually have an attorney, the buyer will have an attorney, and title will be running for you. So again, if you are in a particular state and you want to know more, you want to understand better, all you have to do is call our office. You're more than welcome to speak with me directly. You can talk to any of the girls here in the office and they can explain it all to you and make sure that you're understanding of what you need to do once you get your contract signed. Your LO is your loan officer. Your LE is the loan estimate. Just like the CD, it's going to be the preliminary numbers that are being estimated by your loan officer to try to show you where they believe that things will end up by the end of the transaction. It is very, very important that you're working with somebody who is going to put those numbers together correctly. The last thing that you want to do is to be surprised at the end and have to bring in more money than what you anticipated. That can really change things for some people. Again, there's no questions yet, guys, so hopefully I'm doing a good job. But if you have any questions at all, it's interactive. Please put those into the feed. Happy to answer them for you. Your physical inspection, as I mentioned, is different than your appraisal. That is where you are going to get yourself an inspector to go through that home and double check that everything is working right. This is your option to do. This is an optional report that you can choose to pay for. If dad's a contractor, if you've got a good friend that's a contractor, you might want to ask them to come along and do it for you. It is not required, but it is definitely suggested. Your processor, you might hear your loan officer tell you, well, my processor is going to reach out to you. Your processor is the person, once you do your loan application and you have all of your paperwork put together and they submit the loan to an underwriter, your loan officer, the loan officer will underwrite your file. The underwriter will underwrite your file that your loan officer sent in. And once it is underwritten, the processor will take over. The loan processor is going to work very closely with the underwriter to make sure that they get everything that the underwriter wanted prior to final approval. So your underwriter will give you what is called a commitment, and it is a underwritten and approved subject to. You are subject to blah, 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 blah. So what do we need to get on your file to make sure that we get to a clear to close where we are ready to go. You are a fully approved and completed loan application. So they're going to say they want an appraisal. They're going to say they want a verification of employment. They're going to say they want one more bank statement to confirm that that deposit that you put down on that home has been received. So the processor you will also be working with alongside your loan officer, and that processor is working right alongside that underwriter who you will never talk to. Your underwriter, I'm sure that that's pretty basic. And, your FICO score, I think we all know what credit is, but I am going to get into a slide on credit today. Your homeowners association, your HOA, if some people want homes in HOAs, others don't. So read that very carefully. And your HOI is your homeowner's insurance. Many people get this confused with mortgage insurance, two totally separate things. Mortgage insurance is when you put less than 20% down on a home. Homeowner's insurance is to make sure that you are covered as a homeowner against fires, natural hazards, a tree falls on your house, a pipe breaks, things of that nature. Somebody slips and falls on your property. That is very, very important. You actually get to shop for your homeowner's insurance. So you get to select the insurance company, find your quote, and pay what you want to pay. I have a Nancy jumps on. She says, if issues are discovered during the physical inspection, what can you do as the buyer seller? So that's a great question, Nancy. Thank you so much. And I've never seen your name on here before, so I sure appreciate that you are joining us today. With a physical inspection, that is something that you will be working directly with your real estate agent on. So as we get deeper into the presentation today, we'll be talking about things that are important when selecting the real estate agent that you'll be working with. And one of those things are negotiating skills. That is very important to make sure you're working with somebody who is really good at that piece of the puzzle and does understand the contract very well, the ins and outs, leaves you with some contingency timeframes to get that physical inspection done. If you find that there are repairs that need to be completed on that home, you absolutely have the right as a buyer, as long as you kept a physical contingency in your contract and didn't waive it, or you didn't choose to buy the home as is, you have the right to go back to the seller and request for those repairs to be done, or a credit to be given to you in a way of closing costs, a credit towards your closing costs to cover those repairs after the home has closed. So you absolutely have the right to renegotiate even once you are into the contract. So I hope that that answers the question. Jennifer jumped on. She says, hello all. Jennifer, good to see you. Heidi jumps in and she says, can you explain if there is a question about rate when the loan is underwritten and they have heard from the loan processor, should they reach out to the loan officer or the loan processor? Okay, so I kind of get where Heidi's going here. So I believe what Heidi is trying to get me to do is to differentiate the difference between your loan officer and your processor. And I think that that is very important. And Heidi, thank you so much for bringing that up. Your loan officer, you guys, is your first point of contact. They are the person who is basically selling you the mortgage, okay? You've got to think about them as your guidance. You're signing up with them. They are helping you to figure out what loan you're getting into, structure it. So what kind of program, what down payment amount, what interest rate. They're going to go through with you why you're getting that interest rate, all of the different reasons why and how an interest rate comes to play. Why do you get this one, but your neighbor got that one? So any questions that come up at all, your down payment all of a sudden changes, you have less than what you thought, the interest rate changes, or you want to lock in your interest rate, all of those things are loan officer, licensed loan officer that is helping you with those things. When it comes to your loan has been underwritten by an underwriter and there are documents that need to be obtained to get your loan cleared to close, the processor is working on those. So the processor is doing the minutia of the paperwork to push your file through the system. Your loan officer is responsible for everything that somebody licensed needs to talk to you about. So I am licensed, and which means that I can legally talk to you about interest rates, why you get an interest rate, and what is determining the rate that you get. So that was a great question, Heidi. Thank you so much. Manny jumped on and he just gave us a thumbs up and a smiley face. So Manny, thanks so much for watching. This is actually really good for you since you will be selling loans here at Mortgage Mom Radio right around the corner. Manny is my son, and he is actually working on his licensing right now.
I thought you were going to say because he's going to buy a house soon.
Yeah, well, I'm going to hope that he's going to do that too. Heidi jumped on. She said exactly what I wanted you to review. Thanks. And Heidi, you are very welcome. And thank you for bringing that up. I love it when my team jumps on and is part of the show because they really do help me. I'm moving along. I'm trying to get to very important things. And obviously, they also get a lot of questions from our clients and can make sure that they are helping me along the way. So thank you, ladies. All right. So we are on, like I said, to screen number 2, more buzzwords, right? More things that you guys need to know about a real estate transaction. People are going to throw things at you. What do these things mean? So again, this is going to sit up here on the screen here for a minute. I'm not going to read every single definition, but property taxes, that is what you're going to pay to the state, county, city for the home that you own in the state that you are in. Your real estate agent versus a realtor. This is very important for you guys to to understand what the difference is. Heather, you guys can't see her right now, but she's got the mic, and being that she's a licensed real estate agent and a realtor, I'm going to let her quickly throw that definition at you.
So basically the difference between somebody who's a real estate agent and somebody who's a realtor is the realtor is designated with the National Association of Realtors, or NAR. So they carry a special designation and generally belong to their local boards, their state boards, the national boards. Somebody who's just a real estate agent most likely is not a member of any of those boards, possibly not a member of the local board either.
Okay, very good to know. So basically, guys, look for a realtor. That would be my advice to you today, or my suggestion. I won't use the word advice because I'm not a financial advisor. But that would be my suggestion to you, is to make sure you guys are working with somebody who is designated as a realtor. Your termite inspection. So this is something that is your choice as a buyer, whether you'd like to have a termite inspection done or not on the home. I do definitely suggest that you get a termite inspection done. You want to make sure that those little buggers aren't eating away and giving your home dry rot. You don't want to buy a home that needs to be tented. Much easier to get that tenting process done in between your seller moving out and you moving in, rather than you moving in, having everything there, and then having to go and stay somewhere for 3 or 4 days while they fumigate the property. So definitely suggest that you guys do that. But it is optional for you as a buyer. Your title report, this is something that the mortgage company is going to require. It is also something that even if you pay cash for a property, you as a buyer are going to want to make sure that the seller does get for you. This is going to make sure that the property is free and clear of all liens that the current owner or the seller has against the property at the time that you take ownership of that home. So you want to make sure if they've got a mortgage, a second mortgage, an equity line of credit, if they have a solar lien, if they have any mechanics liens, if they have any IRS debt, you want to make sure that everything is being cleared and you are taking a free and clear title of the home. So title insurance is very important. And your underwriter, we've already basically talked about them, but they are the know-it-all, say-it-all. They're the end game for you. Are they going to approve your loan or are they not? They are the person that is going to sit down and they are going to work through your income and work through your credit and work through your assets and make sure that you can be approved for the loan. They will put that stamp of approval on your loan application. So with that, we've made our way through buzzwords. I can see that Carrie jumped on. She said, hi, just a reminder that VA requires termite. Carrie, thank you so much. That is absolutely 100% true. If you are a vet and you will be buying a home with a VA loan, you are required to have a termite report. And one thing that is different is that as a vet, you are not allowed to pay for the termite report. So you do have to make sure that your real estate agent is familiar with VA loans if they are going to help you and you do plan to use yours. If they are not, they don't do a lot of VA financing in their transactions, they don't work with a lot of veterans, you may want to possibly select a different real estate agent. Obviously, we do tons of VA loans here and we work with real estate agents across the nation. So if you are looking for a particular state and area that you want to buy in and you are a vet, make sure you give us a call. We'd be happy to put you in touch with somebody that we know does a lot of those. But it is very important to know that they need to negotiate in your contract to get the seller to pay for a termite report, and it cannot be waived. So awesome, Carrie. Thank you so much. I love it. Red Muffs jumps on. He says, loving the info. Thank you so much, Red Muffs, for getting on here and being part of the show today. Absolutely appreciate it. So with that, you guys, keep the questions coming. This is Buzzwords. We just finished this part. We are going to take a super quick break so that I can grab a quick sip of, my soda, and then we're going to get right on to the next piece of the workshop. So stick around, stay tuned. It's like a minute long. Be right back.
Hi, this is Carrie Young with Mortgage Mom Radio. Do you dream of moving to another state but don't know where to begin? Let us help. My team and I are licensed in multiple states. We can prepare you to buy before you make the big move. We also have numerous referral sources. Having recently made a big move myself, let us help you prepare to make your dreams a reality. Give us a call. That number is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. That's WELEND and the number 4. Or visit our website. That's mortgagemomradio.com.
All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and today I am bringing you our Homebuyer Workshop. We're taking you from the beginning of the process all the way through the end and everything in between. This is an interactive show. I want you guys to ask your questions. I want to answer them for you. I'm going to read them right out loud, and I'm going to give you those answers. You can put them right into the feed. Whether you're watching via YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, you guys have your way of communicating. Just put it into your messaging, and I'm going to be able to see it and read it for you. I am actually only able to see right this second the YouTube comments, but Facebook does work and Twitch does work as well. And Mikey is going to stop me, who is back behind the camera, and let me know if anybody does comment. So please don't make it feel like you can't ask if you are watching me via one of those two social sites. So again, make sure you guys are asking me your questions. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move right into our first contest. The first thing I told you guys when we were getting started was we were going to have some games, which were going to be fun, and we want to make sure that you get a chance to play. So you do need to have that Mortgage Mom Radio phone app on your phone. It is the phone app that you had to text MOM to 844-935-3634. You would get a link. You're going to save that to your home screen on your phone so that you can play along. So our very first contest is you're going to open the app. You are going to find Contact Us. Then you are going to click Email Heather, since she's here with me in studio, and you are going to type in the subject line your full name, and you are going to hit send. The very first person that we get an email from is going to win a Mortgage Mom Radio t-shirt. So we will contact you after the show is over via email, since you emailed us, and we will ask you what size that you would like us to mail off to you. So Heather, I'm going to let that roll. Do you already have a winner?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. So as soon as you have a winner, just go ahead and give me the big wave and I will stop. But once again, you guys are going to open the app. You're going to find Contact Us. You are going to click Email Heather, and then you are going to type your full name into the subject line and hit send. So as soon as we have the first person come through, we will go ahead and announce that. This is contest one. We just want to keep it fun and exciting. So here we go. Let's get on to the next subject. So benefits of homeownership. So you guys are here today. You're following along. You're watching the workshop. We've got Nancy Tanner. So Nancy, you are our first winner of the Mortgage Mom Radio t-shirt. Thank you so much and congratulations. And we will reach out to you on Monday to get your home address and the size that you want. And you can actually, if you'd like to, you can, Heather will email you right now and say thank you. And you're welcome to go ahead and email her back and she'll get it coordinated for us. So that's even easier than waiting until Monday. So here we go. Benefits of homeownership. You guys are here with us today because you want to buy a home. Why do you want to buy a home? Because there are benefits. You may not know what those benefits are. You might be thinking your parents might keep telling you over and over again, you need to buy a house, you need to buy a house, you need to buy a house. You might be hearing the mortgage mom say, you need to buy a house, you need to buy a house. So we want to bring you through what are those benefits of homeownership. But on the other side, I'm going to take you through, what do you need to do to take care of that? And what are the downsides of homeownership? So it's very important that you understand both the positives and the negatives of buying a home. So number one, you can see it right there on your screen, biggest day, right? You get the tax deduction. You're going to get the tax deduction of all of your mortgage interest, and you're going to get the tax deduction of all of your property taxes. As of last year, when we all filed our tax returns for 2021, mortgage insurance was tax deductible. There was a point in time when mortgage insurance was not tax deductible up to very recently. I want to say that changed over in about 2017 or 2018. I have heard murmuring throughout the industry that the mortgage insurance will not be tax deductible again coming up in 2022 or 2023. I am not the IRS. I am not a CPA. I am not a registered agent. So I cannot tell you 100% that is coming, but definitely go on into your search engine and type it in and see if you can find any information about mortgage insurance being tax deductible and that might be going away. I do believe that it will be, so it's something to keep in mind if you'll be buying a home with less money down than 20%. We might want to talk about ways that you can buy it out up front. We might want to talk about ways to building it into the interest rate, lots of ways that we can go about it, but check into mortgage insurance. I'm going to leave that for you to do and to make the judgment call on your own. Nancy did jump on and said, thank you. You're very welcome, Nancy. So happy that you won, and we'll make sure we get that t-shirt out to you. Everybody stay tuned. We have got a really, really great contest at the very end. It's lots of fun, and that person will be able to win themselves a free appraisal when they do their financing with Mortgage Mom Radio for their next transaction. So, okay, so you've got your tax deduction that you don't have right now, and I guarantee you when you go to file taxes, your CPA is going to be telling you that you need a tax deduction. So that would be one of the benefits of homeownership. Tax, I've got build wealth. So obviously over time, your home is going to build you wealth just simply by appreciation. A lot of people right now are saying, well, we're in a recession. Home values are dropping. Why would I want to buy a house? Why would I want to buy a house, Heather? But trust me in saying that real estate always goes up over time. Real estate is not an overnight make money fast, quick flip event. Real estate is something that you hold on to for the long haul. This is something that you get yourself into property, just like when you play the game Monopoly. The longer that you own it, the more rent that you collect, the more value that you get, the more that you can do with that property. So I'm going to tell you that it will help you build wealth over time. Look it up. It's a cyclical cycle. More, value goes up, value comes down, value goes up, value comes down. It always exceeds where it left off the time before. There's never been a time in history where it didn't reach the level where it was at the time before things had started to slide, and it always goes up and supersedes that number. So even if we are on our way down right now, if you are a renter, you are feeling the pinch of rents. Your rents are going up. You are going to pay more again next year. Your landlord is going to continue to increase your rents year over year. When you own a home, you are locking in a monthly payment if you get yourself on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So you will build wealth with real estate. You do have security. So as I just mentioned with the monthly payment, you have security. Nobody can raise your monthly payment on you. Nobody can tell you that they're increasing your rent. Nobody can tell you that they are serving you with a 60-day notice to move because they want to sell the property. Nobody can, you can't get kicked out of your home. If you do all of the responsible things that you need to do as a homeowner during your homeownership process, it's your security blanket, guys. It's yours. You have pride of homeownership. You can put your flowers in. You can update your home. You can paint your walls. You can fix that property to be what you want it to be. It is your security blanket. It is your pride of ownership, and it is going to help you build good credit. So when you have a mortgage on your credit report, people with mortgages who pay their mortgage on time, who have a good credit rating on their mortgage history, the majority of the time will have a higher credit score than somebody who doesn't have a mortgage. So it definitely helps you to build your credit as well. So those are just some of the things that I find that are very important and a benefit of homeownership. So let's get into another part of the homeownership that is a benefit. I want you all to do your own research. I want you to do a rent versus own calculator. You can find this on Zillow. That is where I found it to show it to you today here in the PowerPoint presentation. And I'm showing you what I put in when I ran the numbers, okay? Is it rent versus own? Which one is more beneficial? Should you buy or should you rent? And so I want you to see what I put in when I came to my conclusion of buying a home is better than renting, even today when you might be worried that property values could possibly be dropping, okay? And I'm just checking to make sure we don't have anything on Facebook right now, Mikey. No questions coming up on Facebook? Okay, cool. All right. So what I did is I put in the Zillow rent versus buy calculators, and you guys can go in there and do it for your own accord. What sales price you think you're going to buy, what loan, how much down, all of those things, property taxes. But I did one very quickly. I did it at annual renovation costs of about $3,500. So as a homeowner, you are going to have some upkeep on your house, whether that be something like needing a new refrigerator, needing a new washer and dryer, maybe a pipe breaks, maybe you have a loose tile, loose roof tile. I just had to call out my home warranty plan because my garage door wasn't going up and down the way that it needed to, and that was $75 to fix that. There's going to be annual costs over time. There's going to be many years that will go by that maybe you have nothing to fix, and then all of a sudden, boom, you need to repipe your house. So I went ahead and I put in an annual renovation cost of about $3,500 on your house to take care of it because you don't have a landlord to call to say, come fix my house for me. I put renting utility costs. So again, where you live across the nation, your utilities are going to change based on your gas for heating, your electric, for your AC and running all of your appliances. Things will change based on where you live. But I found that on average across the nation, your average monthly utility cost for trash, garbage, if you're taking care of the lawn maintenance yourself for a home that you're renting, your electric, your power and, all of that stuff, about $600 a month. That could be a lot higher and that could be lower. So again, that's why I want you guys to do this for yourselves to determine if this is right for you. Renter's insurance. So when you rent a property from somebody, all of your personal belongings on the inside of your home are not covered by their insurance policy because you're a renter. So they are and should be, if they haven't already and they didn't ask you to do it, you should be getting it on your own. But most landlords will require that you get yourself a renter's insurance policy to cover your belongings in case of some sort of a disaster. That will typically, what I've seen again on average, is about $50 a month. I will see about 2 months of rent for your security deposit, and we'll kind of see your first month security deposit. Sometimes I want first, last security. Again, it depends on where you are in the state laws where you are renting. So I put on average 2 months up front. An HOA fee. So this is going into if you bought a home that has an HOA, I put $50 a month. There's many, like you can get into Texas areas where they have HOAs, and Kentucky that have HOAs, and Arkansas that have HOAs of like $300 for the year. for the year. Utah, I see that a lot. But then you can get into California where you've got homeowners association fees that are $300 and $400 a month. So it depends on where you're buying, but I put on average $50 a month because that's probably about the average across the nation. Annual property tax rate I put in at 1.25. 1.25 is probably pretty average. If you get into Texas, they're in the 2s, guys, close to approaching in on 3s sometimes. Las Vegas, you guys are phenomenally low. I love Las Vegas's property taxes. Tennessee, great property taxes. So I put 1.25 as an average. Wherever it is that you are buying, wherever it is that you are thinking about getting yourself a home, look up your property taxes. It's really easy. Put it into your search engine and write property taxes for your state, or your city and your state, and you will see a bunch of things come up, and you can click on that and you could see what the average number is for your area. Your maintenance rate. So I put $3,500 in here. Again, annual renovation costs, more maintenance fees. So I'm going high, guys. I want you to be aware that I went extremely aggressive on this. I want you guys to see the worst case scenario. And then I want you to go in and actually put in what you think that these things would cost you. And then does it make sense for you to buy versus rent? Okay. Purchase costs percent. So this is closing costs. What's it going to cost you to do the closing costs? This is 1.75%. That is very standard. Sometimes it's 1.5% to 2%. So I went 1.75% on your closing costs to get into that home. I put selling costs. So when you go to sell your home, this is taking everything to an account, guys. How much money do I have to put in? How much money do I have to keep to upkeep it? What's it going to cost me to close and closing costs? What's it going to cost me to sell the home to get my proceeds later? This is taking everything into account, which is why I love this one that they do here on Zillow. So I put 8%. 8% is actually a pretty high number when it comes to sellers' costs. If you're on the West Coast, it is very common for commissions to be negotiated down a little bit lower with the real estate agent, maybe 4.5%, 5%. Probably 5% is pretty average between the listing and the selling agent here in California. Across the nation, 7%. 8% might be very normal. So I went very, very high and I did 8%. You're going to pay 6% in a commission and about 2% in seller's fees, which is actually very high. So I do want to make sure you guys know that I was not changing things around to make this beneficial for you. Tax filing status, I put married. Okay. Married gives you more exemptions. So I put married. Homeowners insurance costs annually, $1,500. Growth rates, I put 0. 0 growth rate. If you buy the home today and property values do not appreciate at all, 0. They don't change. Next year, they don't change. The year after that, they don't change. You get 0% appreciation. So again, this is taking into account your tax advantages, your benefits that you're getting from your ownership of the home. Okay. First year rent forecast. I did put that your rent's going to increase by 10%. That's pretty standard right now. And it's going to keep going that way as things get worse with the economy. Buying expenses. So I put your interest rate at 5.5%. That's an interest rate that's, very doable, especially for a first-time home buyer. I was looking more at like an FHA loan, a VA loan, the lower down payment, loan types, a loan program that a first-time buyer might use. I put 3.5%. I put 5% down payment. So again, a very low down payment. I put a comfortable home amount for you of $700,000. And I put right now that you're paying about $3,800 in rent. So again, a $700,000 property is probably renting for somewhere about $35,000 to $4,000 a month. Rents have gone up. And if you want to choke right now hearing that, it's pretty factual. If you're looking at, if you rent a home right now that's about $2,000 a month, you're probably looking at homes, more in the 300,000 range. And so again, that's why I say very important for you guys to go and do this rent versus own. Maybe you are a first time buyer, but you've got 20% down and you're going to buy a home for 300,000, right? Very important to put those numbers in there and to see what your rent versus own looks like. Okay. So after 4 years, it is cheaper for you to own a home than it is to rent a property. So take that in, let it resonate with you, and decide. Does that make sense? How long am I going to live there? How much longer do I have until I retire? How will this house benefit me after year 4? Guys, 4 years is nothing. So keep that in mind. I definitely believe you should be buying a home, which is why I'm sitting here today on a Sunday and giving you guys this information. All right. Responsibilities of homeownership. Okay. I gave you all the good stuff. Why should you buy a home? So what's the bad stuff? What do you need to know? All right. So you do need to make your mortgage payments on time. When you rent a home and you have a landlord, the majority, there are some landlords and there are some rental complexes, big rental complexes that do report to your credit report. But the majority of the time when you rent a home, your rental history, your payment history does not get reported to your credit report. Your mortgage history will get reported to your credit report. If you miss a payment, that is going to hit you, and it is going to hit you hard. So you need to make sure that you do not miss mortgage payments. Do not. I have seen somebody lose as much as 100 points overnight because they went 30 days late on their mortgage. So that is one of the responsibilities of homeownership. Property taxes. If you don't pay your property taxes, guys, you can lose your house. They can foreclose on you. They can sell the property at auction. They could take your property. So you have to make sure that your property taxes are paid for. One way to make sure that that happens is to make sure that they're included in your monthly mortgage payment as part of the monthly payment that you make. So your taxes and your homeowner's insurance, everything is all balled into one. It is all put together. That is what they call PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. And you are budgeting to make that payment every single month so that you do not have to worry that your property taxes are not getting paid. If you are somebody that gets big commissions a couple times a year, big bonuses a couple times a year, you might be a good candidate to pay your property taxes on your own when the bill comes due, because you know you get a big bonus 2 or 3 or 4 times a year, and then you'll pay your property taxes when you get those bonuses. Everybody has a different reason for why they might decide not to have things impounded, is what they might call that, impounded or escrowed. But I would highly suggest that you do get them as part of the monthly payment. Just my suggestion to make sure that you guys keep yourselves in good shape. Your repairs and maintenance are your responsibility. As I mentioned before, you guys do need to make sure that you're upkeeping. You have no landlord to call to say something broke. Please send somebody over here to come fix it. You know, the toilet is clogged, the water spraying out of the sink, whatever that it might be that might happen. There is nobody to call to say, come fix it for me. You are responsible to do it. So if you're not a handyman and you're not good at those repairs, then you want to make sure that you're budgeting to cover things that might come up over time. And HOA dues. So if you do buy a home that is in an HOA, whether that be a condominium, a townhome, or a single family home, there are properties with HOA dues of all types. If you buy a home that is in an association and you do not make your association your monthly payments to the HOA, they actually have the right to foreclose on you. You could lose your home for your back homeowners association fees. So you do want to make sure, just like your mortgage, that you do stay up on those and you do get those paid. Many times when people do run into financial problems, they do start hurting. A lot of times the HOA dues will be the first thing that they do stop paying. But let me just tell you, please don't do that. Don't pay your credit card. Don't pay something else before you don't take care of your home. Your home is your security blanket. Your home is where you get to stay forever. If you maintain it, you pay for it, and you take care of it. So very, very important. Again, I want to remind you guys, this is interactive. Please keep the questions coming. If I say something that doesn't make sense, if you want to correct me, if you have questions that you want to ask, please go ahead and throw those in the feed. I am more than happy to help you. That is what we are here for, and that is what we're doing today. All right, so we're moving on. How do we determine what the best loan program is for you? So you now understand the benefits of homeownership, you understand the responsibilities, and you are ready. You want to buy a home, but you have no idea where to start. You start hearing people talk FHA, VA, USDA, conventional, jumbo, bank statements, DSCR. You're like, I have no idea. I'm a CR what now? Okay. So, how do we determine what loan program is best for you? So obviously it starts with a consultation. We need to talk to you. We need to get you on the phone, on Zoom, however you feel comfortable doing it. We need to talk to you. We need need to talk to you about things like your income, your budget. What do you have available for down payment? Do you have reserves? Do you have, on top of down payment and closing costs, that you've saved and you have in the bank? Do you have extra money that we can look at as though you've got reserves? Do you have a down payment? If you don't have any down payment saved at all, we're going to have a completely different conversation. So it depends on you. Are you self-employed? Are you retired? Are you a W-2, but do you have a salary or do you have hourly? All of these different things are going to determine which loan program is going to work best for you. So as you can see up on the screen, I've broken it down. You guys, again, you can pause it, you can go back to it, you can read through these bullet points. If we're still moving through the presentation, you're more than welcome to throw those questions into the feed and be more than happy to answer them for you. But just realize that we are going to determine which loan programs work best for you based on you. So we aren't going to obviously only give you one option. We're going to give you all of the options that you qualify for. And then we're going to tell you, we're going to show you the scenarios. Here are the 2 or 3 or 4 or 1 scenario that you qualify for. And then at the end of the day, you're going to choose which program that you feel is best for you. And obviously through consultation, we're going to explain to you what the differences are between each program that we laid out for you. And why do we think one might be better over the other, but it's still your choice. It is our job to educate you, and then you decide what works for you and for your family. So keep that in mind. Heidi asks, can you clarify exactly what the home warranty is and why it's important? Yes, Heidi, I can. And thank you for asking that question, because I did throw that in there when we were talking about benefits of homeownership. And I said that I had to actually call my home warranty company to get my garage door fixed. So one thing that you can negotiate in the contract when you go to buy the home is for the seller to buy you a home warranty plan. If the seller is unwilling to negotiate, that doesn't mean that you can't buy one for yourself. You can. And on average, we see them run anywhere from $400 or $500 to $1,000 a year. And this is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's a warranty plan. You're going to have a deductible, which mine is $75. That's why I had to pay $75 to have the garage door company come out and figure out why my door wasn't closing right. And you are going to, every time you make a service call, you are going to pay that deductible. Some of them are $50, some of them are $75. It depends on the coverages that you have. And the cost of the plan each year depends again on the coverages. So if you have a pool and you have a spa and you want to make sure those are covered on top of your home, it's very important to make sure that you're getting the right warranty plan. But this will help you. So to explain, my pool, the motherboard that runs all of the pumps and the heater and all of the equipment went out 2 months after I bought the home. And we had to completely replace the entire motherboard. That would have actually cost me about $2,500. But instead, I paid $75 for the deductible from the home warranty plan. So home warranties are very good, and I would absolutely tell you to try to get the seller to buy it. And then obviously, if they won't, you do have the opportunity to buy that yourself. Did you have something you wanted to add?
I just want to mention that there are basic home warranties that cover your air and stuff. You can add pool and spa. Most of them now include the pool and spa, but you can add refrigerator, washer, dryer. So you can add on to it, which costs more. The one thing that I always get asked is, can I renew it at the end of the year? Absolutely. You don't have to be a first-time buyer or a buyer to get a home warranty. You can get a home warranty on a home you own right now if you've never had one.
Right. Absolutely. If you own a home, even if you haven't had one, like Heather said, you guys can actually buy yourself a home warranty. So definitely check into it. Check it out if you guys want, the names and numbers of the bigger, home warranty companies that we've seen come across in multiple contracts. We're happy to do that for you. So again, back to how to determine the loan program that's best for you. We're going to figure it out based on you. That's the bottom line. And Heidi, please keep those questions coming, because you are asking the best questions ever. So one thing that I do want to do really quick, as you can see on my screen, you can see loan programs. So we're getting into the next section of this presentation, and I'm trying to move right along through it so that I can get you guys as much information today as possible without keeping you on sitting at home with the phone going, or the camera or the computer, or whatever it is that you guys are actually listening and watching using. I'm trying to move through this as fast as I can. So again, it's interactive. I want you to ask the questions, even if I'm way past something that I had said before, and you're just able now to ask the question. Ask it. I will stop. I will go back. I want to make sure that every single person who is here today, who's following along, that is watching, is getting the information that they need. I also want to remind you that me and my entire team are very knowledgeable and very good at what we do. So if you have questions and you want to get a one-on-one consultation, please call our office. We want to do that with you. We want to help you. So you call the office. The number is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Call our office, get yourself a consultation. Go to our website and click the appointments button and make yourself an appointment time that is good for you. When you make an appointment through our appointment book, you're actually getting 1 hour. It's consultation. It is free. We are going to spend an hour with you if we need to on the phone with you. So go ahead and go in there, pick a day, pick a time that works best for you. It's open on Saturdays. It's open on Sundays. It's open Monday through Friday. And if there is not a time or day that works for you, just send me an email, which you can do right through the website as well. Send me an email and let me know that you need a particular day and time because of your work schedule, and we will work around you. Don't ask me for 2 a.m. That's not going to happen. But, we will make you something. We will work with you, even if it is 7, 8 o'clock at night, even if it is 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Remember that I have girls everywhere. Carrie's in Tennessee. She's 2 hours ahead of the West Coast. So if you needed a 6 a.m. appointment, that's 8 o'clock for her. She's already up and she's working. That's fine. We've got Heather in California. So if, you need an appointment at 6 or 7 o'clock and you're in Texas, that's no big deal. That's 5 for us. So just ask and let me try to accommodate you. That's all I ask. That's what I want to do. Mary jumps on. She says, hola, mom. Thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate it. Carrie says, I'll do 2 a.m.
Okay, in all fairness, she has 2 little ones, so she's probably up at 2 a.m. anyway.
She probably is. So with that, thank you so much, Carrie. I'm going to remember that. All right. So thank you so much. Again, we're going to move right along in this presentation. We're going to keep this thing going. You can see on the screen, it says Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, Jumbo, USDA, Rural Development. We're going to get into loan programs next. So we're going to take a quick commercial break because I need a minute, and then we'll get right back and we're going to jump into these different loan programs and all the good stuff. Remember, we've got a big, huge game coming at the end where you can actually win yourself a free appraisal if you do your financing through Mortgage Mom. So don't go anywhere. Learn everything that you need to know. And then you guys are going to play that fun game with us. So stay tuned. Hi, this is Debbie Marcoux, host of the Mortgage Mom Radio Show. I don't know if you've heard about it, but rents are skyrocketing. Do you rent right now? Are you a tenant? Well, chances are, if you haven't felt that pinch yet, it's coming. Think about when your contract is up and start thinking about what your landlord might do. You may even want to call your landlord to find out if they plan to increase your rents. It is happening all over the nation, and the last statistics show that we can see a 15% increase from 2021 to 2022. Give us a call. Let's stop the bleeding. Let's get you into a home. Let's lock in a monthly payment that will never change. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Or head on over to our website to mortgagemomradio.com.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and today we are doing a home buyer workshop. We are bringing you guys from the beginning to the end and all the goods in between. So why should you buy? What do those terms mean? We've already gotten through all of that. How do we decide which loan program is best for you? Well, it's customized to you. Okay, but what are these loan programs? So that is what we are getting into right now. We're going to start moving through all of the different loan programs, whether they're minimum down payments, what are their credit score requirements. This is information you guys need to remember. Very, very important, because it is going to be part of the final game that we do, where you can and have a chance to win yourself a free appraisal. One thing I want to mention, here's a couple of quick tidbits that you guys need to know to play the game. I have a dog. She is a Newfie or a Newfoundland. You guys can look those up. She looks like a cow, and she eats like a cow, and she poops like a cow, and she is 140 pounds. So that is one of the things you need to know for the game. So much fun. Another thing is, if you guys listen to the show on a weekly basis, you've heard me talk about Havasu, boating, Heather's breakdown of her boat. So just in the back of your mind, keep that in your head. Those are some of the fun questions that we're going to ask. And then we're going to obviously get into some of the loan questions, which you should know the answers to if you guys have been paying attention. So here we go. Let's get started. This is very important. Mikey, I'm not moving. All right. So here we go. VA. Okay. VA. I love VA. I absolutely wish that more vets would utilize it. I've had a lot of people call me and say that they talked to loan officers who told them that a conventional loan was better for them, that they shouldn't use their VA. I'm going to tell you guys right now, VA loans are spectacular. One thing that they do have that a conventional loan doesn't is the funding fee. That is mandated by VA. It is not something that there is any lender that can do to get rid of it. So calling me or calling ABC Lender doesn't change whether you have to pay it. It is a guideline from the VA. It is the VA's loan that they're letting us write for you. The funding fee is waived when you are considered 10% disabled or more. So if you have any kind of disability from the VA and you have received that your letter stating that they are, giving you that disability, then you will not pay a funding fee. So listen to me closely. If there's no funding fee and the interest rate is lower than a conventional loan, it is lower than a jumbo loan. There are on here on this sheet, I've got loan size up to 1 million. I haven't had a chance to update yet. It is wrong. There is no loan limit on a VA. So we can do a VA as a jumbo. We can do a VA as a normal conventional. If you don't have to pay the funding fee and the interest rate is lower than all of those other programs, why would you not utilize your VA? VA loans are fantastic. They are zero down. You can do a refinance on them, and you can actually pull out cash up to 100% of the value of your property. We've got what's called an IRRL loan, which is a refinance for somebody if interest rates happen to drop. And this is a great subject for us today during this workshop. With interest rates being in the 5s and 6s at this point in time, if you buy the home and the interest rates do drop, we can do what's called an IRRL. The IRRL is a refinance of the term. Loan balance, interest rate. That's it. I have to call and I have to verify your employment. Sometimes I don't even have to pull a credit report. I don't have to verify your income at all. It's just a phone call verifying you still work, but I don't need pay stubs. I don't need W-2s. It is a very, very simple process. I do not need an appraisal. Very simple, very fast, very easy if interest rates were to drop. So VAs have some really great possibilities, lots of things that are beneficial to you. If you're a vet, you haven't bought a home, you're still renting, please remember the old fire drills that we used to do. What they tell us in school? Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. Get yourself a pre-approval and get out there and start shopping. Buy yourself a home if you guys are vets. You've got zero down. You can negotiate with the seller to pay your closing costs. You can literally get into this home for no money out of your pocket. You would have no mortgage insurance monthly, a lower interest rate than any other loan program that is out there. Just a fantastic loan program. So please, if you haven't already, call us and let's talk to you about maybe getting you into a house. All right, so FHA. Let's see. We've got Carrie jumps on, says VAs are my favorite loans, and Heidi says Carrie is amazing at VA loans, and I agree with both of those. Very, very good loans. Nancy says, can you still qualify for a first-time homebuyer loan if purchasing out of state? Nancy, it doesn't matter where you buy as long as you are a first-time homebuyer. So if you're a first-time homebuyer, or you owned a home and you sold it more than 3 years ago, you are considered a first-time homebuyer. So whether you've never owned or it's been at least 3 years since your previous ownership, you are considered a first-time buyer. So great questions. I want you guys to keep them coming. Earlier on Facebook, my Aunt Lori actually jumped on to say hello, and Mikey didn't give me the big wave to let me know that there was a comment. So I do want to make sure that I tell her hello back. And Carrie says, oh, thanks, Heidi, and gives her big kisses. So again, I love that my team is on. I love that they're participating and that they are part of this show with us today. So FHA, we're going to get into FHA, but I want to remind anybody that might be joining us right now who hasn't been here since the beginning. This is interactive. Please put your questions into the feed. I want to read them out loud. I want to answer them for you. And I don't care how far ahead that I get. If you have a question about something that I said previously, go ahead and type it in there. We'll stop and we'll go back. So here we go. On to FHA. Let's see. Heidi says, what if I am on title of my parents' house, but I have never bought a home? Am I still a first-time home buyer? Love it, Heidi, because this comes up all the time. So thank you for asking that question. And no, you are not. If you have had ownership, doesn't matter if you lived in it, doesn't matter if your name was on the loan. If your name is on the title of the home, which will very commonly be done by parents because they want to make sure that their properties go to their kids, you now have ownership of a home and you are not considered a first-time buyer. So that is a great question. Again, team, keep them coming because it makes this workshop all that much better when you bring up things that I don't think to talk about. All right, so FHA, moving on to FHA. I love FHA. FHA is one of my favorite programs. This is great for first-time buyers because it is a 3.5% down payment. This is great for second-time buyers. So if you have owned a home and you need to get into a property with lower down payment and you're not a first-time buyer, this loan program is for you. FHAs are great. 3.5% down. You don't have to be a first-time buyer. FICO scores, take this down, jot it down. It's part of the game. Credit score minimum 580. FHA will actually go lower than that, but it is very, very difficult to find a lender who will underwrite and approve lower than that. So when I say that, lenders such as the big banks, the mortgage companies, they don't want the risk of somebody below that number. So they put an overlay on that guideline that they want 580 or higher. So, we're going to work with 580 today because that seems to be about the lowest number that we typically find. We have a couple of companies here at Mortgage Mom Radio. We actually have a couple that will go down to a 560, but 580 is what you're going to see pretty standard across the board with all mortgage companies that you'd call. So that is going to be the number we'll use today for FHA. Your debt to income ratio, or you're allowed to get qualified for a bigger monthly payment. So your debt to income ratio can be higher on an FHA than what they might allow on a conventional. They also, because it is a government program like the VA loan that we talked about, FHA will also allow the FHA Streamline refinance. Again, no appraisal, sometimes not even a credit report. We don't need to look at pay stubs. So if you get into a home today and an interest rate today, and interest rates happen to drop, you can do a very fast and very quick and very easy refinance to get a lower interest rate and drop your monthly payment. I love that that is an opportunity with VA and FHA. It is not an opportunity with a conventional loan or any of the additional loan programs that we'll talk about moving throughout the workshop today. And I just keep making, I'm looking to make sure the questions don't come up. So let's see, historically, they have lower interest rates than conventional. This is still true today. When I run pricing on an FHA loan, you can still get an interest rate in the high fives right now, currently, where a conventional loan, you're going to definitely be into the mid sixes at this point. So FHA will come with a lower interest rate than a conventional loan would. The mortgage insurance premiums are both higher and lower. So if you have a lower credit score, a conventional loan will let you go down to a credit score of 620, and that is flat across the board. It doesn't matter what lender that you're working with. That is the bare minimum. Cannot go below 620 with conventional. But when you have a 620 credit score and you have to get mortgage insurance, it will be more expensive than the mortgage insurance that you will pay for an FHA loan. If you have a 700, 720, 740 credit score, the mortgage insurance with conventional will actually be cheaper than it will be with FHA. Why is that? Well, FHA is great because it's more of a do-over loan. Everything's kind of one flat fee because it's government. So no matter who you are, you will pay the same mortgage insurance as the next person. So whether you have the 580 or you've got the 740, you're going to pay the same mortgage insurance. Conventional, the mortgage insurance is based on your credit score, your debt ratio, property type, where the property's located. There's lots of things that go into what the mortgage insurance is that you will pay on a conventional loan. So FHA very many times is a great loan for a lot of people. And when I call it the do-over loan, I want to bring this up. Foreclosures, bankruptcies, collection accounts, short sales, all of those things, they have much more lenient guidelines as far as how long ago that something could have occurred, and you can still obtain financing today. So if you find that you did a Chapter 13 bankruptcy and you're still in the middle of your bankruptcy, as long as you've made 12 payments to your repayment plan and they've been made on time, you could qualify for FHA financing right now today. If you did a Chapter 7, you could qualify for that after 2 years. So much more lenient guidelines, where conventional is going to be a longer waiting period. So again, I love this program. It's great for somebody who is not a first-time buyer. It's great for somebody who is a first-time buyer. It's got a lot of upside. It does not get the hype that it deserves. Many times people go, oh, FHA, that's not true. FHA is actually a fabulous loan. So give us a call if you're interested, if you feel like that's the program that you're going to fit into. So gonna keep going here on conventional. So remember, guys, our game is gonna be based on some of these terms. So remember them. Your down payments, we do have on a conventional loan, you have down payments as low as 3% down. So conventional does have a nice low down payment option as well. I can tell you that the less money down, so think of conventional as the elevator. This is the best way to explain conventional. The more money that you have down, the better interest rate. The higher your credit score is, the better the interest rate. The more money that you have down, the better the mortgage insurance, and over 20% down, you don't pay any mortgage insurance. With an FHA loan, you could have 50% down. You're still going to pay that mortgage insurance. So conventional is kind of an elevator. With 3% down, you're going to have quite a bit higher interest rate, where you might actually want to look at the FHA instead at the 3.5% down. The mortgage insurance on a 3% down loan, unless you fall within a low to moderate income section of the program, is going to have quite a bit higher mortgage insurance monthly than that FHA loan would. So really where we see a nice spot for conventional would really be 5% down, 700 plus credit score. And, a lower debt to income ratio, we're going to stay under like a 45%. That is going to be a really great person for a conventional loan. But we're going to talk to you about it. If you've got a 620 and you've got 20% down, we're going to talk to you about conventional. That might be the right way to go. We're never going to exclude something that is an option for you. We're going to show you the option and then let you choose which one works best for you. A conventional loan can be closed in a combination of a first and second mortgage. This is something that we have done way back in the past. We used to do a lot of it. It's not nearly as popular today. I don't really know why that is. Probably because second mortgages have gotten a lot more expensive than they used to be back in the day as well. Your first mortgage interest rate is based on the fact that you have a second lien, so then it bumps the rate up. So a lot of times we don't want to go the direction of a first and second mortgage combination, but we do them when we need to. So that would be really beneficial maybe for somebody who doesn't have any reserves and wants to buy something that would be in more of a jumbo loan category, but they don't qualify for that jumbo loan because maybe their credit score isn't there. Maybe they don't have the reserves that are required. Maybe their debt to income ratio is a little bit higher, and that's not allowed on a jumbo. So maybe we do a first mortgage of $647,000, and then we do an equity line of credit for $100,000 to get you in those conforming guidelines, those conventional guidelines. But we're getting you into that jumbo territory for your total loan balance. So there are reasons why we might want that. And it is something that we can, again, talk to you about your scenario and if that is something that you should consider. One thing I do want to bring up really quick are loan limits, because that's very important. And I didn't talk about it with FHA. I did tell you with VA, there is no loan limit, and there isn't. If you can qualify for the loan and you have the eligibility for the loan with a VA, then there's no loan limit. So we can go up to whatever number we want to go up to. With FHA, there are loan limits. FHA do not necessarily run the same as a conventional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan limit. They set their own loan limits, and many times their loan limits are actually lower than what the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conventional loan limit is. So definitely, if you're thinking about wanting to go FHA, you want to call us and tell us where you're looking and where you're planning on buying so that we can make sure that you're looking in the right price range to get into the loan amount that's allowed for FHA. Now, for conventional, they come out every single year and they give us new loan limits every single year based on the average value of a home, average price of the most recent sales. They do their data, they do their research, and then they come up with what's the new Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conventional loan limit going to be each year. So in areas that do not have high cost, and the reason why this PowerPoint says that loan amounts up to $970, depending on the county, $647, $200. Why would I give you two different numbers? That's a huge spread. Well, some areas are considered high cost areas. For example, Los Angeles County is a high cost area. It is going to give you a higher loan limit than the normal flat base conventional loan limit. Somewhere like Plainfield, Illinois, or somewhere like Lake Ozarks, Missouri, they're going to have the standard base Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan limit. They are not considered a high cost area. So depending on where you are looking, you could be looking at a different number. As of right now, today, September the 25th, 2022, the loan limit for the standard conventional conforming loan limit is $647,200 for one unit. When you buy a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or a 4-unit property, the loan limit does go up based on the amount of units that you are purchasing. So if you want to know what those breakdowns are for where you're looking, all you got to do is get your consult and talk to us. But the majority of the country is on that $647,200 as of today. Now, they come out, like I said, every single year and they give us new loan limits. those new loan limits are not out yet. They have not made their official statement of what that new loan limit this year is going to be increased to. We're hearing numbers anywhere from 715,000 to 743,000, I think is the highest that I've actually seen somebody publish. Nobody actually knows for sure yet because they haven't made the announcement, but everybody knows that it is going up. So what does that mean for you? Well, when I go back to, well, maybe we want to do a first and second combination and you want to buy something for 800,000 and you only have 10% down. So you need a loan of 720, but the loan limit where you want to buy is 647. Maybe we're going to do 647 and put some money on a second to get you into that home for, seven to that number that you need. So where does this help you out? Well, now I don't have to go 647 if they increase the loan limit. Now I can do 715. So now maybe I don't have to gap as big of a bridge doing a second mortgage if you don't fall into those jumbo guidelines for a jumbo mortgage that goes over the standard conventional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan limits. So I hope that helps. Again, if you guys have questions, please let me know. Heather did jump in. She says, do you always have to impound your taxes and insurance on an FHA? What about HOA dues? So great question, Heather. Thank you so much. So you do not always have to impound your taxes and your insurance on a conventional loan. You are required to have a minimum of 10% down on the property to choose on conventional if you want your property taxes and insurance impounded or not. So again, wrapped into the total monthly payment, sometimes also referred to as escrowed. With an FHA loan and a VA loan, it is required. So it doesn't matter how much you put down on those properties, you are required to have your taxes and your insurance wrapped into your total monthly payment that you make every month. So great question, Heather. Thank you. Heidi asks, so if I'm buying a house for a value higher than what would meet the conventional loan limit with 20% down, then what would happen? So what would happen, Heidi, is that we'd have to look at jumbo financing. So if you want to buy something for $1 million and you put 20% down and you need a loan for $800,000, and the loan limit in your area, in your neighborhood, is $647,000, then we need to look at jumbo mortgages. And if you don't qualify for a jumbo mortgage, then maybe we want to do 647, maybe soon to be 715 or 743 or whatever that number is that they say. But as of today, maybe we do a 647-200, and then we put the difference up to 800 in a second, a home equity line or a home equity loan. So you end up in that first and second combination. You have your total financing at 800, which is what you wanted, and you bought the home for $1 million. So I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, and anybody out there listening that has more questions about that, keep them coming. Happy to keep explaining until we all get it. Nancy asks, if buying a fixer-upper, would a first and second combo be the way to go? So Nancy, not really. Buying a fixer-upper, that's a completely different ball of wax, a whole different conversation. If you're looking to try to buy the home with as little money down as possible so that you can keep your cash in your pocket to then be able to use your own cash to do the improvements, we might want to look at something like FHA. If you are thinking that you want to finance the improvements, then we might need to look at a renovation loan, totally different kind of loan program. So it depends on what it is that you're trying to do, but not really a fixer-upper really is not a first and second combination type of product. That is really more to just try to get you to within the conventional conforming Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan program if you are outside of it loan-wise. So the house price that you want to buy is too high and you don't have enough money down payment to get to the loan limit. So I hope that does make sense. But Nancy, you're always welcome to keep these questions coming. I love it. Her next question is, if getting a conventional loan, can you request to have taxes and insurance impounded? So taxes and insurance can always be impounded in every kind of loan that you select, every loan product. You can only choose to not have them impounded or escrowed. Both are called the same. You can only choose to not have them that way if you have a minimum down payment of 10% or more. And that is allowed on a conventional loan, and that is allowed on a jumbo loan, and that is allowed on some of the non-QM loans or non-qualified mortgage loans, kind of alternative financing. So on conventional and on jumbo, you have to put down a minimum of 10% to be able to choose not to. But all loan programs can be. So that's a great question. Thank you so much. I love it. So we're going to jump right in now. We're going to move on from conventional. And again, if you guys have any questions, keep them coming. Happy to keep reading it and happy to keep answering those for you. But we're going to go ahead and move right along to jumbo. Jumbo is, again, exactly what I was just talking about with conventional. If you're looking for a loan over and beyond the conforming loan limits for where you live, or where you want to buy, where you are moving to, and you want to get an $800,000 loan, but $647,200 is your maximum in the county where you're going, then you're going to be looking at a jumbo loan, or we got to do something to get you into the conventional if you don't qualify. So what is it that you need to know about jumbo? Jumbo's number one. I want you guys to all hear this. They usually have a better interest rate than a conventional loan. They have a better interest rate than Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. They are definitely a lower rate for you. However, if you have 10% down, that is the minimum. I do not have a single jumbo product that has less than 10% down. Minimum down payment on a jumbo is 10% down. Interest rate on a jumbo with 10% down is significantly higher than a conventional Fannie or Freddie with 10% down. So keep that in mind. Jumbos truly are really for that person that has 20% down or more. So if you have 20% down or more, you have a high credit score, you have money sitting around in the bank after you close to fill the gap of what we call reserves, you might really be a good person for a jumbo program. But if you have a lower credit score, you don't have the reserves, you're just scraping by what you need to get into the loan, we might want to try talking about doing that first and second combination to try to gap the bridge with a normal Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan. Jumbo loans do have specific guidelines, so they are all individual investors. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is this giant entity that they lay out a book of guidelines for everybody to follow. FHA, Govy, government, big guidelines, everybody to follow. Same thing with VA, FHA, USDA, right? Jumbo is a different story. Jumbo are portfolio investors. That portfolio could be one of the big banks. Could be Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, JP Morgan. Chase and JP Morgan, two separate entities. A lot of people don't know that. It could be AmeriHome. It could be many different places, Union Bank, right? And then there's a lot of offside investors that you've never heard of that I'm not even going to bring up their names. They get to write their own guidelines. So every single bank will have a different way to qualify you. They will have income that they will accept or not accept. They will have a different credit score guideline that you have to have a certain credit score to qualify. They will have a different reserve requirement. So you may call me and you may have a great debt to income ratio. You may have great credit score, but you're a little shy on the reserves. I might not be able to put you with one, but I can put you with the other. So the interest rates that you hear people throwing out there, maybe you don't qualify for that rate. So we really have to talk to you about you. What is your scenario? Exactly like I mentioned when we determine which programs are best for you, it's all about you. We're going to figure out what are the options, what's available to you. We're going to show them to you on paper, and then you're going to decide which is the best for you. Which one do you want? Nancy says, thanks. And you're very welcome, Nancy. Thank you for being part of the workshop today. Heidi says, love me some jumbo loans. Jumbos are absolutely Heidi's favorite. This is her wheelhouse. She loves it. So yes, Heidi, we gotta love them. Heather says, Heidi is the queen of jumbos. You're amazing with them. So, and this is true. Heidi is absolutely our queen when it comes to our jumbo programs. So we're going to move along. We're going to get through USDA. And then after USDA, I'm going to take a quick break because I need to breathe. And when we get back, then we're going to finish up a couple more loan programs from there. Again, this is interactive, guys. If you have questions, put them into the feed. Ask them. If you're brave enough to put it out there for me to read it out loud, you are helping somebody else, because I guarantee you, if you have a question, somebody else has the same question that you do. They're just too shy to ask. So please, please, please ask away. Put your comments into the feed. So USDA, here we go. So USDA is a loan for a property that is in a rural area. So I want you guys to hear that. A lot of people don't believe that you can get a USDA loan in California. Guess what? You can. You just have to go outside the city, and that goes across the nation. USDA is a phenomenal loan. They actually have very generous income limits. It is based on your house, your home size, family income requirements. It's a family size, okay? So think about it this way. If it's you and it's your spouse and it's your 3 kids and it's your mom and it's your mom's mom, you are now a family of 7. Your income amount allowed is based on the size of your family. So it is actually quite generous in what it will allow. It is 100% financing, so you could get in with 0 down. If your property happens to appraise for more than what you negotiate for the sales price, you will actually be able to finance up to that amount of your closing costs. So just recently, we had a property where the value came in when we ordered the appraisal at $734,000. And this is just, I'm just giving you an example. I'm not telling you you can buy a house USDA for $734,000. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just giving you an example of something that happened in my office this past week. Value came in at $734,000, but the client had negotiated a price at $725,000. So we have the difference between $725,000 and $734,000 that we could finance of their closing costs. Now, this was not a USDA loan. Chances are you're not going to be able to qualify for a USDA loan up in the 700 range. But if you've got a really big family where we're going to allow a lot of income, then that could be a possibility. But if it's just you or you and another person, you and a spouse, chances are you're probably not buying something for $700,000 utilizing USDA. So if you want to know what those income requirements are, you want us to run the scenario for you, as I continue to mention throughout the workshop, call us, schedule your consultation, go to the website, go to mortgagemomradio.com, book yourself a consultation, call us, talk to the phone, whoever answers the phone, book yourself a call, maybe talk with one of the girls immediately if they happen to answer, but get your consultation. USDA loans are awesome. They are truly awesome. They've got reduced mortgage insurance. They do have an upfront financed mortgage insurance fee. It is very similar to actually the VA funding fee, but different. But it is great. It is great rates, reduced mortgage insurance, 0 down. You can finance the closing costs if you're a good negotiator and you get a property lower than what the value is. It's just really an awesome program. You don't have to be a vet to get in with 0 down, but you do have to go outside the city. So if you are willing to drive a little bit to find something that is outside of the city limits, then chances are that home is going to qualify for that USDA program. So really a great program. I absolutely love it. We don't use it enough. Enough people don't utilize it. Many people don't even know it exists. When they do know that it exists, they don't believe that they can qualify for it. I've had clients with upwards of the family income of being $100,000, and we've been able to get into USDA loans. So it is possible. It depends on your family size, and it depends on the property you're trying to buy. So give us a call and let us help you and see if it's something that you fit that USDA bucket. So with that, I'm going to remind you guys, it's interactive. Ask your questions. I want to answer them for you. We're going to take a super quick break. And when we get back, we're going to get into self-employed borrowers. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
She's the mortgage mom. pick up the phone and call Mom.
Here we go. Home buyer education. You guys are looking at the very first screen that is in my PowerPoint presented by Mortgage Mom Radio. You've got my name, you've got my licensing. That's all very important because it is important to know that the person that you are working with is a licensed agent or a licensed loan officer in your area where you're looking. That is very, very important. I do recommend that you have somebody with state licensing for your state. So for example, I personally have 13 state licenses. I'm working on 3 more, so I should have about 16 state licenses by the end of this year. And many loan officers will only have 1 license for the state in which they work and they live. So you do want to make sure that you are working with somebody who is licensed in your state. It is very important. Every state is a little bit different. The rules, everything that goes along with the financing can be slightly different from county to state to city. So that is very important. Now, the cool thing about Mortgage Mom Radio, since we are licensed, or I am licensed in so many states, we can actually work with you not no matter what, but for a good amount of the nation, a good amount of the country, we can work with you. So we have many clients who have called us and said, try to figure out where I want to go. I might want to be in Texas. I might want to be in Florida. We can help him in both of those journeys. Tennessee, Georgia. If you guys want to have a list of every state that we can help you in, please feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to give that to you.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and this afternoon we're doing Homebuyer Workshop. We're making sure that you guys are learning everything that you need to know from the beginning to the end. What are the loan programs? What have we touched on already? If you've just recently joined us and you're jumping in now, we've already talked about benefits of homeownership, responsibilities of homeownership. We've gone through buzzwords, definitions, what do they mean, all that important stuff. We've already talked about FHA, VA, and conventional, as well as jumbo loan programs. How do we determine which loan program is best for you? And now we are on self-employed borrowers. So self-employed borrowers can be tricky, right? If you're out there and you're self-employed, you totally understand what I mean. You're thinking, I write everything off. I don't show anything on my actual tax returns. Well, that's okay. We've got a program for you. So we actually have loan programs where we can utilize the deposits of your bank statements to determine your monthly income. We can do loan limits as high as $5 million, exceptions up to $10 million, down payments as low as 10%. The bank statement program is a really great program. Now, remember that this is not a traditional loan program. You are not qualifying with your tax returns. You are not giving us what we would do for a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. So there is no way in the world that you are going to obtain those same kind of interest rates for a bank statement product. You are going to pay a higher interest rate. It is going to cost you to get this program, but it's going to get you into the home. It's going to get you ownership. Maybe once the business is, up and running a little bit stronger and you're, actually filing the tax returns with income earned on it, and you can afford to pay those taxes to the government, then you can always refinance later and you can drop that mortgage, that interest rate, and drop that monthly payment. So this is a great opportunity for somebody who is self-employed, who doesn't believe that they can buy a home. Yes, you can. It is very possible. Now, this is not a bank statement loan, is not a loan for a wage earner. If you are a W-2'd employee, you will not qualify for this bank statement product. Bank statement is for self-employed only, and we typically want to see your business bank statements are very important. So we hope that you have separate business statements from personal, but we do have lenders that will also allow us to use personal. So if you are a Schedule C or a sole proprietor and you don't have a business bank account and you use your personal account, that does not disqualify you. We just have to find, the other lender that's going to do it for you and get you what you need. So this is out there. It does, it is available. It can be very beneficial. It can be very helpful. Now, a slide that I don't have in this presentation because I just got the information on it on Thursday. So it is a brand new program that we have, and it's called the Community Mortgage. Community Mortgage is actually a new make sense, no nonsense loan for a primary residence. You do not have to be self-employed. You could be a self-employed, you could be a wage earner. It doesn't matter. It is a no ratio loan. So we are basically not verifying income at all. You need 20% down at minimum, and you need to have a minimum of 12 months of reserves. So if maybe the bank statement program, you're still just not showing enough in deposits, but you know you just signed this big, huge contract for your company, you know you can afford that home, we just can't show it on paper yet, that might be a great program for you. It might be a great program for somebody who is wanting to relocate and they just want to sell their home, they want to buy the next home, they want to get there, and then they want to look for a job. Well, if we can't verify income, we can't verify the new employer, this would be a great program for you. It gets you the house, it gets you moved, it gets you in, and then again, we can always refinance it later to drop the interest rate and the monthly payment. So if that sounds like a program that might work out for you, give us a call and talk to us about that one as well. That is the Community Mortgage. You do not have to have a job at all. We verify nothing, but you do have to have a pretty good credit score. You do have to have reserves, and you do have to have a minimum of 20% down. Now, when I say reserves, a lot of people might say, okay, but you haven't explained that yet. What are reserves? All right. So reserves are the total monthly payment for your house, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, if there are HOA dues. The total money that you have to pay on a monthly basis for your house times a certain number, and it's usually months. So some lenders might say, well, we need 6 months reserves. That's for some of those jumbo products. We need 12 months reserves. We need 24 months reserves. Every lender writes their own guidelines when we get into these more portfolio programs, and they all specify what they want. So with that community mortgage, they want 12 months of reserves. So if your total mortgage payment is $1,000, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, they want to know that you have left in the bank liquid that can be utilized, pulled out, used in case of emergency. They want to know that you have $12,000 available. So depending on the amount of mortgage that you're looking for and the amount of the monthly payment will determine what that number is, because we know $1,000 isn't probably very realistic for a mortgage payment. But if your payment's $3,000, you need to take 3,000 times 12 is $36,000. That's what we would have to verify. So keep that in mind. That loan program is actually also really awesome. It'll go up to $3 million in sales price. So very lenient on the sales price. So again, I didn't have a PowerPoint slide for that one because we just got it on Thursday, so I didn't get a chance to put that together, but it definitely ran very well here with the bank statement self-employed borrower slide. All right. We did almost all of the loan programs. There is one other loan program that is great. It's called a DSCR. It is a debt service ratio loan. That is for an investment property. You do have to have an owner-occupied residence in order to buy an investment property. So you do need to be paying rent. It can't be something where you're living with somebody for free on their couch and you want to use this program to help you qualify because your income isn't there. It really, truly is for an investor, and we're going to know if you're not an investor. But if you're buying a home for an investment and you want the property to qualify itself, so the rents that could be obtained on the home will cover the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on the investment property. Then if you've got a good credit score and you've got 20 to 25% down payment, you can get into that loan program. And the house itself will qualify itself. That is why they call it a debt service. So is the property servicing itself? Is it carrying enough rental income to make its monthly payments by itself? And if that is the case, we don't go into your income, we don't go into your tax returns, we don't go into anything but your name, your birth date, your social, your credit score, your assets, And then obviously we have to get an appraisal done, and we have to make sure that that property will rent high enough to cover the costs associated with the mortgage. So that is one more loan program that I don't have a spreadsheet on, or I don't have a PowerPoint slide on, but it is there and it is available, and you guys are welcome to ask us questions about it. We'd be happy to help you. Again, if you guys want to know what's best for you, you want to know what works for you, you want to know what's going to work in the area, the neighborhood, the city, the county, the state that you're going to, you just have to get a consultation with us. That's the easiest way. You get an hour, it's free, it's by phone. If you really want to Zoom, we'll Zoom with you so that you feel like you're in person. I've got people everywhere. I've got, Carrie in Tennessee, Heather's in California, Heidi's in Arizona, Cindy's in Idaho. I've got Kristen in Texas. I'm also in California. We're spread out. We're not just a West Coast shop. We're helping everybody everywhere. So give us a call and let us help you, and let us tell you what's going to work out. Let's get you into a home. Let's get you to stop paying rent. Let's get you to stop throwing your money away. Let's get you to stop making somebody else's further future investments a good thing for them. Let's make something a good thing for you. So go to the website, go to mortgagemomradio.com, click on that appointment button, and get yourself a time and day that works. If there isn't a time and day that works for you, send me an email, send me a message. There's a contact us right through the website. Hey, use that phone app that you guys all downloaded earlier today. There's a contact us on there. There's an email Debbie, email Heather, email Heidi, email Cindy, email Carrie. We're all there. So utilize it, get in touch with us, get that consultation, and let us figure out what we can do for you. So I'm going to take a really quick break. And when we get back, we're going to get into closing costs. I do want to make sure that you guys are all prepared for closing costs. I want you to know what they might run you, and I want you to know that you can negotiate with a seller to get them. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done. When you're in need and don't know where to go, pick up the phone and call mom.
All right, so how do you guys contact us? And this is really important because once we're done with this presentation today, you may decide that now's the time. You want to get things started. You want to ask us questions. Let me just tell you that anywhere at all that you look for Mortgage Mom Radio, you can find us. Everything is Mortgage Mom Radio. Don't forget the radio, because there are a ton of people that try to call themselves Mortgage Mom, but Mortgage Mom Radio, you will find us. The website is mortgagemomradio.com. On Instagram, we are Mortgage Mom Radio. You can see it all here. It's on this screen.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and we are doing our Homebuyer Workshop today. We are getting you guys from A to Z through the home buying process. So we've hit on so many things today. It's been really great. If you're just joining us now, if you're getting in late, make sure that you guys go back, watch the beginning, learn what everything is that I've just explained. This is going to be really funny. I wish we could pan down. Heather's trying to crawl past me right now where you guys can't see her because she had to run to the restroom really quick. I mean, you guys remember we're an hour and 50 minutes into this thing already, and I hope we're keeping you entertained, and I hope we're giving you guys everything that you were wanting and needing from this workshop, but it is a long day. So she did have to run to the restroom and then crawl back in because she didn't make it during the commercial. All right, so fun times. Here we go. Closing costs. Okay, you guys, this is really important. So everybody asks me, well, what are closing costs? And in previous workshops, I've actually pulled up closing cost estimates, and I've brought you through them line by line, and what is each closing cost for. And, I would love to do that with you, but it would be a lot easier to do it with you one-on-one than trying to do it with everybody. I know here on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, it's not necessarily as clear as it should be. It's not as big as it should be. It's not as easy to really go through it as it would be if I just emailed it to you. You opened it on your computer and we worked through it by phone. So I'm going to leave it at that today. I'm not going to go through a big closing cost worksheet with you today. However, I want you guys to hear this. Closing costs do run on average about 1 3/4. If you remember back to the slide that I did where I was showing you the rent versus own calculator and I put 1 3/4 in there. Some states are going to be a little bit less expensive than other states. It really just depends. It depends on what standard for the title fees, standard for if there's an escrow, standard for if there's an attorney, standard for if title's doing both sides. It depends on where you are and what is average. However, if we go with about 1 3/4% of your sales price, then you know that you need to save. So for example, if you buy a home for $500,000 and your closing costs are, 1 3/4%, what does that mean to you? What does that mean? How much money do you need? Well, you're going to need about $7,500-ish, right? In that range. So that is on top of your down payment. So if your down payment is 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%, this is on top of. So a lot of times you're excited, you saved your 20% or you saved your 5%, and you call a real estate agent and you get out there and you start looking and you make an offer and you call a lender and then you apply, which most people go backwards in that way. You should be applying first. We should be getting you your roadmap to success. We should be telling you everything that you need. How much money do you need to have? We should be consulting you before you get out there and you call a realtor and start seeing homes. But many people do it backwards. And what happens is that they all of a sudden find out they're already under contract. And then they call the lender and they start the application. And then they find out when they get their loan estimate that we all learned about at the beginning, they find out that they need more than the down payment. And they didn't know that. So please keep in mind there are closing costs that you need on top of your down payment amount, whatever that might be for the loan program that you're choosing. So one thing to say about that is that the nice thing about the fact that there is a little bit more inventory than there was in 2020 and 2021 is that these sellers are negotiating some more. They are working with you. They are giving credits towards closing costs. So maybe you have your 5% or your 3.5% or your 10% saved based on whatever the program was that we all decided was best for you. But you don't have the closing costs. Well, that doesn't mean you can't start shopping. That means that your real estate agent needs to know that you can't buy unless you get this credit, or you're going to have to wait longer while you save. So it's very important to understand your closing costs. It's very important to know how much that you're going to need. And it is very important for you to go through that with somebody before you get in the car and start shopping for homes. So again, get your consultation, guys. I can't say it enough. It's free. We love it. We love doing it for you. We want to do it with you. We want to make sure that you're prepared. We want to get you that roadmap for success. We want to make you a homeowner.
Okay, I'm going to add in here real fast. So I'm going to put my realtor hat on. So when you're out with your realtor and the realtor says, oh, okay, I know that you need to have your closing costs paid. Let's just ask for 3%. Okay, let's say for, kicks and giggles, your house is $300,000, 3% is $9,000. If you ask for $9,000 and you don't use the whole $9,000, say you only have $7,000 in closing costs, that remaining $2,000 goes back to the seller. So it's super important for them to talk with us and know how much are you really going to need, so you're not over asking because maybe you could have negotiated that off the price.
Right, or
in repairs.
Right, or if we know that you have more than what is necessary, then we're going to use some of that money to buy the rate down. So
That's
maybe we can
true,
get
too.
you a little bit better interest rate and use all of the money that you negotiated rather than letting that money go back to the seller because it didn't get utilized. So closing costs are very important, and that's where I'm going to leave closing costs at. It's important that you're working with a good lender. It's important that you're working with a good real estate agent. We obviously prefer it that you call our office and you work with us. That is why we're bringing you guys all of this information for free. We're hoping that we're going to get some phone calls from you guys and that you do want to work with the Mortgage Mom team. But definitely something to keep in mind. It's very important that we talk about those closing costs and you know what you're getting into before you get out there and you start shopping for homes. Nancy says, this is great information for a new possible home buyer. Thank you so much, Nancy. I love it when you guys keep commenting, asking questions. It really does help the workshop. I want to make sure that I am touching on everything that might be a question, so keep them coming. Now we're going to move into a pre-approval. So we've told you what words mean. We've told you why you want to buy a house. We've told you what you have to do to be responsible to buy a house. We have told you how we determine which program's best for you. We've told you what those programs are that are available. We have talked to you about your closing costs and money, and you need to have a little bit more than what you think, because you can't have just enough to cover your closing costs unless you get the seller to pay them. So now you're ready. You're ready to apply. You want to get pre-approved. You're ready to get out there, and you're ready to start shopping. So what do we need from you? So up on the screen, it's a very simple 3 columns that are just kind of talking about what is necessary. Again, we are going to give you an email with exactly what we want from you once we talk to you, once we do the consultation and we know everything about you. Do you get Social Security? Do you get a VA disability? Do you get a pension? Are you self-employed and get Social Security and a pension? Well, you're self-employed, but we want to do bank statements, so we don't need the tax returns. This is just kind of a general idea of a full income doc qualifying loan, what we would ask of you to have prepared. So this is just kind of to get you guys ready before you pick up the phone and you call us, or you schedule your consult and we call you. But basically, you need to have your pay stubs. You need to have your W-2s for the last 2 years. If you get paid hourly, if you get paid overtime, you get paid bonus, or you get paid commission, have those final pay stubs from the previous 2 years available so that we can try to get a calculation quicker than waiting for your employer to respond to a written verification of employment. If you're going full income documentation and you are self-employed, then we're going to want to get the last 2 years of your personal returns. If you're incorporated, we need the business returns for 2 years. If you have K-1s, we need those. We're going to need a profit and loss statement. So we will go through that with you if you're self-employed, of what we need from you. All borrowers, we're going to need some sort of ID. I need your driver's license, or I need a state issued ID. I need a passport. I need something that tells me who you are. If you're going to use a retirement account for down payment or to cover your reserves, I need to get, your most recent quarterly statement, and I need to get to see the terms and conditions of withdrawal to tell me that you have access to those funds. So many people have retirement accounts that they can't access. If you can't access it, it doesn't count towards that reserve requirement that we talked about earlier in the show. So again, this is just a very simple, quick slide, but we will talk with you to determine what it is that we need from you. So obviously, if you don't already own a home today, we don't need your copy of your current mortgage statement. If you don't own a home today, I don't need a copy of your property tax bill. But if you don't own a home today in your head, but your parents added you to the title of their house for security purposes, guess what? I need a copy of their current tax bill, and I need a copy of their current homeowner's insurance bill, because you are technically an owner of that home. So we're going to talk to you individually to figure out what we need to do to make sure that we can get you guys on the right path and into homeownership. So here we go. The Mortgage Mom Radio EMD guarantee. So when you get pre-approved, this is a program that we can talk to you about specifically if you are interested. This is just a program that we offer to our clients if they want to proceed, where it makes them more attractive to a seller. So if you end up in a situation of a multiple offer situation, this is going to make you more attractive to a seller. So who might this be good for? If you're in the starting range, that wherever your neighborhood is that you're looking, whatever your state, city, and county is where you are looking, if you look at what the starter kind of base home starts at, and that is your price range, condos are 300, homes are 375, and you're approved for 400, that is the area that is going to sell the quickest, that is going to have the most multiple offers on it. So we would want to talk to you about this program, and we can go into more specifics and details about it if you feel like this, that you're one of those people, that's your section, right? You're looking for that starter home price depending on where you are. This would be a great program for you, and it makes you very competitive against other offers when a seller's trying to select whose offer to accept. So we'll leave it there. We can explain it to you. We can close you really fast. There's all kinds of great things to it, but it's when you're trying to compete. Now, in this environment, right now, today, this is the program that you guys all need to be aware of. We do have a lock and shop program. And what that means is that you could have locked in an interest rate last week before the Federal Reserve increased the prime rate. And you could buy a home in 2 months from now and you could still get that interest rate. So this is a program that we offer. It is an awesome program. It does cost you money to lock something in because remember, we're taking money off the books. We're putting the money to the side. We're assuming that we're going to close this loan for you. So we do have to collect money up front. If you do not ever close on a loan, you do not get a refund. So who does this not make sense for? This doesn't make sense for somebody that doesn't know if they're going to buy. This doesn't make sense for somebody that is not actively serious about purchasing a home within the next 3 to 5 months. This program, if you are active, you are out there, you are looking, we need to talk about this program because the interest rate last week was about a quarter, 0.25 to 0.375 lower than it was this week by the end of the week after they increase the Federal Reserve prime rate. So definitely reach out to us and talk to us about this lock and shop program. It's pretty amazing. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so I just want to I had to do this slide just to remind me to tell you guys. So if you like TikTok, find us. We're mortgage_mom_radio. And I don't know why I took it off of the slide. It was there before. But if you guys actually find us, mortgage, the line, not the hyphen, the line, mortgage_mom_radio. I throw out stuff on here 2-3 times a week. Really quick, just tidbits of new products. Like on Thursday, I jumped on there and let everybody know about the new community mortgage program. So it's something that if you guys want to follow along with us, that you'd be able to know about something that comes in or something that happens, something that is kind of breaking news, new in the industry, you'll know about it first. So definitely follow us on TikTok. We would love to see you guys there. All right. All right. So this is where I get to stop talking. And we're doing great. We're at exactly 2 hours right now. The last workshop that we did actually went over 3 hours. Heather's going to keep this one down as well. She's going to try to move through it very quickly. You don't have to explain the purchase contract. It's just a picture for them to see that, hey, you're going to write an offer. But Heather's going to take over from here where we're talking about how do you select your realtor. So I got you pre-approved. You're locked in on your lock and shop. You've got all of money that you need. You've got a realtor. You're ready to select a realtor. You need closing costs, and we need to make sure that that realtor is going to work with you and they're a bulldog negotiator. So this is where Heather comes in. We're going to take a super quick break so that we can switch positions and I can take her seat on the couch. And when we get back, she's going to go through this with you. Again, remember that this is an interactive show. So if you guys have questions, do not hesitate. Put them into the feed. We're going to read them out loud and we're going to answer them for you. Hold tight. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Carrie Young with Mortgage Mom Radio. Did you know there are multiple home loan options available with little to no money down? Whether it's conventional, VA, FHA, USDA, or down payment assistance, let us find a loan that's right for you to get you into a home with minimal out-of-pocket expense. Give us a call. That number is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. That's WELEND and the number 4. Or visit our website. That's mortgagemomradio.com.
Hi guys, we're back and I am Heather Kilpatrick. I am a team member here with Mortgage Mom Radio and Debbie Marcoux. I am going to be presenting the realtor section of this homebuyer workshop, and if you have any questions, please remember to put them in the feed. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. You've got the clicker.
I
Okay.
do. Well, your realtor is the most important piece.
It is. Yeah, your realtor is the most important piece. The lender's super important as well, but your realtor is somebody that you really want to have on your team. If you have a friend whose mom's brother's son's best friend's dog, aunt is a realtor, realtor and they're brand new, you kind of might want to think twice about it. Your realtor is a big part of the team. They are going to come in, they're going to show you properties that you want to see. You want to make sure that you tell your realtor what it is that you're looking for and what you are approved for. As lenders, we work with your realtor to let them know and keep them on track, in the price range. So for example, if you're qualified for a house that's $500,000 and your realtor is showing you $600,000, might be doing you a disservice or a disadvantage because you're looking at houses that are over your price range and might not be able to find something that is in your price range. Also, if it's something where you do need to ask for closing costs, you want a realtor that's great with negotiations, is familiar with asking with closing costs, is familiar on how to get that for you, not somebody who's never done it before. You want to make sure they're familiar with all the different loan options that Debbie went over earlier, the FHAs, the VAs, the conventional. That way they can help you when you go to get your loan. So they're going to take you out there and they're going to go ahead and they're going to show you different houses. You want to make sure you tell them how many bedrooms you need, bathrooms, do you need a yard, do you have a dog, what are your wants, versus what are your needs. And you want to make sure that they're actually showing you what it is that you want and that you need. Okay, again, you don't want to look at something that doesn't fit your needs or is out of your price range. So you want to make sure that that's important. Once you get that and you've identified that home that you want, then your realtor is going to make sure that you guys write an offer on it. Generally, they'll call, they'll ask, are there any other offers? That way you know if you have some sort of competition going into it. If there are no other offers, maybe you have a little bit more leeway to get a lower price, to get some closing costs paid. If the home needs repairs, maybe you can ask for it then.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. No, sorry. It was showing a black screen, so I was worried that when Mikey. Yeah. No, keep going.
We're good.
I just don't want to mess up our workshop.
You're fine. So you want to make sure that they know, what to ask for. And when you do go in, it's nice to know if you have others that are over there competing with that same house for you. So
I didn't touch anything, and it just moved on me. So I did. Are you ready for the next screen?
Hang
yeah,
tight.
Okay. All right.
Okay, good. So on the first little bubble here, it talks about your own representation. So we were talking about what it is that you want versus what it is that you need. You need to have 3 bedrooms because you have, a couple of kids, or you need to have roommates with you, or your family lives with you, something like that, versus I would like to have a pool. So make sure that you know when you're going into buying a home what you really want versus what you really need in that home. Okay. That's super important. And also make sure that it is affordable to you, that it's in your price range. There are some times that we have people come to us and say, oh, I want to qualify for a home, and we qualify them for, let's say, $700,000. Maybe they don't want to make that payment. Maybe they're more comfortable at a purchase price of $650,000. They need to know that so that they're not writing on a home that's $700,000. We also have clients that come in and say, oh, I'd like to buy $700,000, but they qualify for much less. And so we want to make sure that we keep you, in where you qualify, so that when you do write that home, there's not going to be any problems with the qualification of the home. Like Deb was talking about earlier with closing costs, right now we're in a great market for buyers. It's kind of shifted from a seller's market where everything was selling super fast for the past couple of years. Things were selling where people were waiving appraisals, buyers were waiving home inspections. They were just going in and giving the seller anything the seller wanted to get that home. We are transitioning a little bit. We're correcting a little bit. Now we're going into a little bit of a buyer's market, where as a buyer, because there are a little bit more inventory on the property, on the market, and the prices have kind of settled a little bit with the rates going up a smidge. As a buyer, you can go in now and you can put that appraisal contingency back in, make sure that the home that you're purchasing does appraise for the value that you've agreed to pay for it. You can also go in and ask for some closing costs. Like Debbie was saying, this can help either pay your closing costs. Maybe you want to buy your rate down. Maybe you're somebody who does have the money for the down payment and for your closing costs, but getting a little bit of help from the seller would be great to buy that rate down to where you really want it to be. That's possible as well. So you want to make sure that you have the agent in there for you on that. You want to make sure what you know about, and that you work with your agent together with your lender to get the things that you need on your new home. So a couple things. We're going to go to the next bubble. It says experts in the marketplace. We're going to talk a little bit about the realtors. Again, you want to make sure that you have somebody who's a seasoned vet. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not new. You could have somebody that's been in the business for 2 years, but maybe they weren't licensed before, they were doing something else. That's fine. You just want to make sure your agent knows what you're looking for and knows the area. A lot of areas nowadays, especially with these new homes going in throughout the United States, they'll have some sort of a mellow rus, which is a special tax assessment on the home. A lot of times they're not real forthcoming with that. So You want to make sure that your agent tells you about that. It could increase your mortgage payment monthly. You want to make sure that you know if it has a homeowners association. Maybe you're somebody that doesn't want to be told you can't paint your house light blue on the outside. Homeowners associations usually control that. They'll tell you what you can do with the outside of your property as far as painting goes, sometimes landscaping. A lot of times now with droughts in certain areas, especially in the West over here, they're real specific about what plants you can put in or what plants you can take out, even on resale homes. So if that's something that you don't want to have somebody control for you, then you want to stay out of an HOA area. You don't want to look in tracks with that HOA. So it's real important to that. If you're somebody who's looking for a condo or a townhome, we need to know if there's any litigation in there. You know, maybe it's a newer building, something was wrong with the build and the contractor got sued, and now there's ongoing litigation. As lenders, we need to know that because that could affect the loan in there, and also it could affect you as a buyer long term. There might be some sort of special assessment assessed later on, so you want to make sure you know that so you're not paying additional fees every month on top of the HOA. Another thing, if you're a condo or a townhome purchaser or buyer, if you have an FHA loan or a VA loan, we need to make sure that that condo or that townhome tract is actually approved for FHA or VA. A lot of times they're not approved, but that's okay.
You got a question from Heidi. She
Hi,
says, what is a special assessment?
Great question. So a special assessment, and it used to only be known as a Mello-Roos about 15 years ago. And what that is, now they're known as a Mello-Roos, a community development fee, a landscape maintenance fee. You might hear it in all different types of terms. And what it is it's an assessment that comes from the builder when the properties are being built, and it's forwarded on to the home buyer, and it goes from every buyer on after that. Generally, you don't see it end. Sometimes there is a bond term, which means it could be 30 years or 40 years, and after that time, then it will end. But what it is it's a special assessment assessed to the property, generally in the tax bill. It's an additional tax that you, the homeowner, pay for the property. So sometimes we used to see it in the early 90s. Builders didn't want to pay for street lights or fire hydrants. They wanted to keep the costs of the property down. So instead of paying out several $100,000 for these items ahead of time, they built it into the cost of the home. So instead of having, say, a 1.25% tax rate, that additional assessment would maybe make it 1.35 or 1.4 or higher. So it's just a special assessment on your taxes that you pay to have some sort of feature that's in the community. It is not an HOA. It's completely separate from your homeowners association. I hope that helped. Are we good?
I think it's good. Keep going.
Okay, perfect. So we were back to FHA and VA approval. So if you're looking for a condo or a townhome, the first thing your agent needs to know, again, why you want to have an agent that's knowledgeable, is the property approved with the FHA or with VA? If it's not an approved complex, it doesn't mean that you can't buy in there. As lenders, we do have the ability to do spot approvals, which means this unit may not be FHA or VA approved right now, but if you give us a couple weeks, usually about 10 days maybe?
For the
14?
spot approval, we need about 10 days.
There you go.
VA approval is totally different. That is a full complex approval.
Yeah, that is a complex approval. But if you give us a little bit of time, then sometimes we can get those units approved. Not always, but we've had some pretty good success with it, I would say.
Okay, and Heidi did ask you one more question about those special
Yeah.
assessments. She asked, can it go up after I buy my house?
Generally, they do not go up. Generally, they're set, but it really depends now on the builder, and it depends on what the builder created when they built the property. I don't generally see them go up. I generally see them stay about the same percentage. However, there are some that I'm aware of that were bonds that were for 17 years or 20 years, and those homes were built in the 80s. So obviously that time has passed, and now that bond is gone. I have seen that, but generally I haven't seen them go up. It doesn't mean they can't. It just means we haven't seen it. That's not typically what it's there for.
Okay, the next question is, can my HOA fee go up?
Absolutely. So your HOA fee, it's a homeowners association is what it stands for. And what they do is that association oversees the whole community, that whole property. So if, again, there was a litigation, if they need additional funds to to fight that litigation or to proceed with the litigation, they could raise the dues. If the cost, usually there's some sort of landscaping or maybe a community pool and spa, maybe you're gated. If any of those costs go up, your HOA costs could go up. They're usually reassessed about every year. When you are buying a home, you do get a copy of what we call the CC&Rs, which are covenants, conditions, and restrictions. You will get a copy of the budget. You will get a copy of the financials. So you can see over the past couple of years how much money have they brought in versus how much they've paid out, and has that gone up, as well as has that forced an increase on your dues. It is very typical to see HOAs go up, usually not every year, but maybe every couple of years.
And it's not always giant. I mean,
no,
there's a lot.
$10,
right.
It's
like, for example, my old home that we were in, our HOA dues since the time. Well, yeah, we were at $51 by the time that we moved. And that home, when in the 90s, when I was selling that tract in the 90s, was, I think, $35.
Yes.
So from the 90s to 2021, when I sold it, it had gone up from like $35 to $51.
Yeah,
so they don't always go up significantly. I mean, something major could happen, I'm sure.
Yeah, the only time you ever see them really go up is if there's some sort of lawsuit. I know in like 1994, we had an earthquake here in Los Angeles. It damaged a lot of buildings, and the HOAs for a lot of the townhomes and the condos, you did see go up because there were lawsuits against builders. But typically what they did is they added a second fee onto that and called it like an assessment, so that once that fee was done, it was gone and it didn't impact the HOA dues. But you generally will see it kind of like a cost of living increase. That's the best way to explain it, is as the items go up to maintain the pool, to maintain the landscape, to maintain the guards. Maybe you have an actual guard that gates, or a person that guards your gated area. As those go up, you might typically see that a little bit. But remember, it's for every unit in the complex or the area, not just yours. So it's spread out over everybody. So it tends to be light. We good on that?
Yeah.
Cool. The last thing, most important, is make sure you are in the school district that you want to be in. As realtors, generally, we don't tell you what school district is what, simply because the school districts redo their boundaries all the time. So if you are concerned, if you want your child to be in a specific school, make sure you call that district and ask them, say, hey, I'm interested in 123 ABC Street. What school district is this in? They are usually glad to give you a map so you can see where everything is, so you can make sure that you're looking in the right property area. Okay, now we can slide. All right, so for California, this is our sample. It's CAR, which is your California Association of Realtors. It's standard all throughout the state of California. I know Nevada has different ones. Texas has different purchase agreements as well. But this is a purchase agreement. It's generally on a form like this. It's not something downloadable from the internet if you're working with an agent. And this is going to tell you everything that you need to know about the property, as far as what you're purchasing it for, how much money are you putting down, what's your loan amount, what's your interest rate. So you really need to have all of that information from your lender before you write the offer, so that you're putting the correct information down. You don't want to tell the seller, hey, I'm doing 20% down conventional, when no, you're doing a 3.5% down FHA. You want to make sure that you tell them exactly what type of loan you're doing. And also on this, ask for anything that you want. If you want to have them, do a termite inspection, you can ask for it here. You want to make sure you get your appraisal in there. Super important.
Home warranty.
Home warranty, you can ask for that. You can ask for additional coverage on that, for sure. Anything that you want included with that house, whether it be a term or, a washer, dryer, refrigerator, has to be in the contract. Has to. Okay, so this is kind of like the whole step-by-step process of purchasing a home. So you've gone out, you've talked to Debbie or Carrie or Cindy or me or Heidi, and we've given you an approval and said, go find a home. So now you've looked at it, you found it, you've written your offer, and your offer's been accepted. What do you do? And a lot of people don't really realize that typically, you don't do any inspections or appraisals until after you're in escrow. Some people tend to think that that's something that you do prior to going into escrow or prior to writing an offer, and that's generally not the way that it goes. Generally, you're going to write an offer on the property. It's going to be accepted, and you want to make sure that it's accepted before you put out any money for an appraisal, or any type of inspections. I will preface this by saying there are differences for if you're looking at a probate or a trust property. Those can be different. So just know if you have questions, if you're looking at a probate or a trust, that can be different where you do have to do those up front. And I'm more than happy to answer that. Question?
Nope.
Okay. So then once you get into escrow, what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and your realtor is going to open your escrow for you. They're going to contact escrow and say, hi, my name is, my client is, and then they're going to ask you to put your EMD in. And you're like, what's my EMD, right? That's your earnest money deposit. Now, your deposit is different than your down payment. Your deposit is a small percentage of the purchase price that you are putting down on the property to show the seller that you are serious about purchasing their home. That seller is taking their house off the market for you, so they want to know that you're serious. So sometimes it's 1% of the purchase price, sometimes it can be up to 3% of the purchase price, or anywhere in between. It is negotiable, and that is something that if it's important to you, you want to negotiate. On a VA offer where you're like, wait a minute, Heather, I'm not putting any money down, that's perfectly fine. Usually you'll see the EMD or the earnest money a little bit lower, maybe $500 or $1,000, and you will get that back at the close of escrow. So don't worry if you're doing a USDA or a VA loan and you're not putting any money down, that's perfectly fine. Again, this is something that you're telling the seller, I'm serious about purchasing your home. Thank you for taking it off the market for me. Here's my deposit. Where it becomes important is when you make your offer on the property, you're going to ask the seller for some contingencies. You're going to say, look, I'm going to do a home inspection. I want to ascertain the condition of this property. I want to know what condition it is in, what needs to be repaired, what's fine, what's perfect. You're also going to do an appraisal contingency, which means that somebody's going to come in, a neutral third party. They're going to appraise the property, which means give you a neutral third party valuation of the property based on the area comparables. And a comparable is something that's listed in escrow or sold. What that property is worth to make sure that it is worth what you're paying for it. If you agreed to pay $450 and an appraiser says $460, that's awesome. You are still paying $450. The value or the price does not go up. However, if an appraiser comes in and says, we know you offered $450, but we gave the value $440, then you would have a problem. So you want to make sure that, you get that appraised value. If an appraisal comes in lower than you've agreed to purchase it at. So for example, I wrote the offer, $450,000. Appraisal comes in and says, based on these area comparables, this house is only worth $440,000. We're $10,000 off. There are a couple different options that you can do for that. And you want to make sure, again, that your realtor knows how to negotiate for you, because you can ask the seller to come down to $440. You can negotiate with the seller to split the difference, where you agree at a sales price of $445, you bring in, some extra money, or the seller can say, absolutely, we're not doing anything. And then you would either have to come in with the difference or you can cancel. So, do you have a question?
Yeah, we got a question. So Nancy asks, EMD is above and beyond down and closing cost, ?
It is not great question. Not above and beyond. So basically what happens is your earnest money, let's say you put $5,000 in. When you go to close escrow, that $5,000 will go towards a credit towards your closing costs. So say, for example, your total closing costs and down payment at the time of funding is $30,000. You have a $5,000 deposit in there. We're going to take that $5,000, credit it towards that $30,000, and now instead of bringing in $30,000, you would bring in $25,000. If you're doing a loan where you're not putting any money down and the seller's paid all of your closing costs, then that $5,000 would go back to you after the close of escrow. After escrow's closed it, they will send you usually a check back. They could wire if that's what you ask them for.
Perfect.
Hope that answers.
Yep.
Was there one more?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So you've got your contingencies in there. You put your deposit in. We've done our home inspection. Everything looks great. We've done our appraisal. Came in at value. Perfect. We're moving right along. And usually this is about the first week and a half to 2 weeks of your escrow process, doing your inspections and your appraisal. If something comes back on an inspection, or if the appraisal comes in under value and you cannot agree with the sellers, you have what's called a contingency. That contingency basically says, I agree to buy your home subject to the appraised value coming in, subject to my approval of your of the home inspection. If you have an HOA area, you are going to get all those documents like I told you about. It's about this thick usually. many, many pages. Make sure that you at least skim through them, if not read them. If any one of those things you have an issue with, you want to tell your agent immediately. That agent is going to go to the seller and basically say, you know what, my client saw that this house needs a new roof and needs new plumbing. It's more than they can take on. Or, my client, can't agree to pay higher value, or my client doesn't like the HOA documents. They don't agree that they can't park their truck on the street, whatever it is. They're going to exercise your contingency period, and they're going to say, I'm sorry, but we're canceling this escrow. And based upon that, as long as you do it within the timeframes agreed upon by you and the seller, you can get your earnest money deposit back. You get that money that you put into escrow back. You each go your separate ways, no harm, no foul. Is there a question?
Nope.
Oh, you look like it. I'm over here kind of seeing you out of the corner of my eye. So once everything goes through, you've passed all your contingencies, home inspection's great, appraisal came in, HOA docs are fine, everything is really great. Now we're just working on the loan. As a lender, we're getting in the appraisal, we're getting in the final documents, you're in underwriting, everything's great on the loan. You're going to sign off on your contingencies. You're going to sit down with your realtor and say, hey, we've gone through all the disclosures, everything looks great, I love this house, I'm going forward. Once you sign off on your contingencies, whether it's a loan contingency, an inspection contingency, appraisal, you are now committed to that property. It doesn't mean that you can't back out. It means if you cancel after the contingency removal, you will lose your deposit to the seller. Whatever amount of money that you have in there, if it's $5,000, $1,000, $500, it will stay with the seller as a good faith. Hey, we removed our contingencies. Whatever happened, now I need to cancel. It doesn't mean that the seller can't authorize to give it to you back. If something tragic happens to you in an escrow, which we've had before, a lot of times the seller will understand and say, you know what, we get it. But just know that the seller, after that contingency removal, does not have to give you your deposit back. They can keep it as the good faith for them taking their property off the market and giving you the time to do all of that. One thing that's on here is termite. We were talking about it a little bit. It used to be an inspection that the seller paid for. Over the last couple of years, it's become an inspection that the buyer pays for. A lot of times, I'm not seeing them done. I really, really recommend that you do them. And it doesn't matter where you live in the United States. Termites can be immensely costly. If you have wood decks, if you have, any type of wood construction, there's subterranean that get underneath the concrete out here. We have concrete slabs in Southern California. They get under that. Houses have to be tented. You can be talking anywhere in upwards of $20,000, $30,000, depending on what you have. If you have covered patios or gazebos, super important. On average, I see them about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 if they have to go in and tent a house. So it can be real costly. I recommend you don't waive them. I recommend you do them. It's usually about $100 to do them. So just make sure that a lot of times they'll say, oh, you don't need a termite inspection. And on some of the loans you do, like VA, it's required. On FHA, it's optional. If you write it in that contract, then it becomes part of that contract. And if there are repairs that need to be done, we're going to call them out and tell you that you have to do them. So just make sure that you know that. It would be a repair. Again, it's negotiable with the seller. They can or cannot pay for it. They can agree to pay for some, all, half, none. And then that would be a contingency as well in your inspections that you could cancel on if you wanted to.
Awesome. So we don't have any additional questions.
Okay.
Remember, guys, if you have any questions at all that you want us to go back to, please put those into the feed. More than happy to, read them out loud and answer them for you. But with that, I believe that we're in escrow.
We are.
Right. So,
Yes.
so tell us about it, Heather. What, now we're in, and let me just kind of preface everybody, let's hone this in for a minute. So
Sure.
You called Mortgage Mom, you did your consult, you figured out you could actually buy sooner than what you thought.
Yeah.
So we went through the pre-approval process. We figured out that the best loan for you is an FHA. So you went and you found a real estate agent that was willing to work with you with your FHA loan. And the reason you're ready right now, even though you didn't think you were going to be, is because we're going to get somebody to negotiate those closing costs for you, to pay them for you. So
Right.
the money that you have is going to work right now instead of waiting another 6 months. And so now you went out, you looked, you found the home, you got super excited, you wrote the contract, the seller accepted it, and in the 8 escrow states in the U.S., you're going to be told by your real estate agent, you're now in escrow.
Yes.
Now in the states that don't do escrow, you're going to be told we're opening title.
Yes.
You're under contract.
Yes.
You're in your contingency term.
All the same thing.
Whatever those words are that they're utilizing in your area, now what? What happens? We did everything,
Yes.
contract accepted, go.
Okay, so we were just talking about the contingencies, and once you open escrow, you're going to have a certain amount of time per your contract to get your contingencies going. That is going to happen simultaneously with your escrow. So we talked about the contingencies, which is your real estate section of it. Your realtor is going to handle your home inspection, your termite inspection. The realtors are going to handle meeting the appraiser. So that's all kind of your real estate side. Then escrow for us as lenders is a little bit different. Immediately call us and give us your contract. Don't wait a day or two or what have you. Once you get that offer signed off, your agent should be contacting us saying, hey, we got an offer accepted. We're super excited. They're going to send us a copy of that. Immediately once we get that, we're going to start rolling on getting your loan going. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get your documents updated if we need them. Maybe, you've been looking for a month or so. We need to get some updated pay stubs, some updated bank statements, whatever it is. We're also going to immediately get you, talking about your rate, get your rate locked. Then we're going to get out your disclosures to you. Now, your disclosures are super important because like Debbie mentioned earlier, it's going to have your LE or your loan estimate. And that's going to show you what the cost of purchasing this home is going to be, what your loan fees are. At this point, we're estimating your escrow and your title. Generally, at this point, we don't have their actual costs. Escrow and title fees are not the same as lender fees. Escrow fees, title fees, attorney fees are separate to the companies that service this escrow. We do our best to estimate. Usually, I would say we overestimate, which is better. And then we're going to show you, here's what your rate is, here's what your payment is, here's what all of your costs are. You're going to say, gosh, thanks, I totally approve. You're going to e-sign those documents. And once we do that, then that gives us the next step where we're going to get your appraisal ordered. So when we order the appraisal, we do our best to get it out, within the first couple of days. Appraisers are a third party. We don't ever talk with them. We don't have any communications with them. A lot of times people say, well, can't you just call them and tell them? No. As lenders, we are not allowed to talk with them. Generally, as a realtor, we're not allowed to talk with them either. It can be just, very simple, hi, how are you? Some realtors will provide them with comparables saying, hey, this is why I think the value is, or they'll give them a list of upgrades, but they really can't say this property has to come in at 440 or 450, whatever it sold for. We're not allowed to do that. So just remember that it's a third-party valuation of your property. It needs to be ordered as fast as we can because we are on that appraiser's time frame. If you're in certain areas where the market's still busy, normally we would say about 7 days. It could take longer than that, so we need to get that ordered as soon as possible. We also want to make sure that you're getting your deposit into escrow. We talked about your EMD. Once that gets in, we get a copy of that, and now we're moving forward with your loan. We're starting to process your loan. We're collecting all those documents, getting everything signed, getting your appraisal ordered, and getting your loan from processing once we gather everything into underwriting. Generally, once you get into underwriting, then that underwriter is going to come back. They'll send us back the file and say, hey, we're missing this or this or this. Usually it's something for us that's pretty simple. Heidi does an amazing job of processing. We're all really good about getting our stuff in so that we can get your loan done as fast as possible. At this time in escrow, that's what's going on with lending. At the same time, this is when you're doing your home inspections. This is when you're doing, maybe you want to do a roof inspection or plumbing inspection. You're doing your termite inspection. So this is all happening simultaneously. We're on one side doing something, your realtor's on the other side doing something. So you want to go through and do all that. I will note, because there's a note down here and I love this because it reminds me, home inspectors don't have to be licensed contractors. They can be members of different associations, but here in California, they don't have to be a licensed contractor. I don't believe they do in a bunch of other states. So if that's something that concerns you, you want to make sure that you get somebody who's reputable. If you want a contractor, some of them are, just kind of keep that in mind. When you are getting your deposit into escrow, The best way to do it is to wire it. Whenever you're talking funds with escrow, whether it be your initial deposit or whether it be bringing in your money to fund at the end, wiring is always the best. It goes directly from your account to escrow's account. They will give you wiring instructions. We're really tight on wiring instructions these days because, there is a lot of, problems as far as fraud and stuff. So you always want to make sure that you speak with your escrow company and you get your specific information. It doesn't come from us as a lender. It comes from your escrow company. They'll provide you with the account and the routing and such. When you do that, that money hits immediately, pretty much that day, the next day, possibly the second day after. If you were to give a check or a money order or a bank order, it can delay because the money goes in and it has to sit and wait for that check, to clear. A lot of times people will ask us, can we give them a check for, money being brought in at the end? Most escrow companies don't allow that because of the time constraints on a check or money order or cashier's check. So be prepared to have to go to your bank and wire the money directly to escrow. If you have an online bank, and we've kind of run into this recently, or you have a smaller bank, you want to make sure up front that you can wire from them to the escrow company, that they're not going to require that you do it some other way. So I will state that as well, as if you have online banking, you want to make sure that you are free to wire to an escrow company, and it doesn't have to go somewhere else first. You can't use cash. You're not taking a wheelbarrow full of pennies. Not going to happen. Escrow doesn't take any form of cash at all. So you want to make sure that you're prepared there. Again, don't write a personal check. Cashier's check, you need to be able to show evidence. It takes too long to do the cashier's check and the personal check because a lot of them now can have stop payments put on them. So generally, they will require waiting time as well. So just make sure that you're prepared to wire.
Okay, so Heidi did ask, what if I am getting a gift for all my funds to purchase?
Great question, Heidi. So if you are getting a gift and the money is coming from, family member, mom's loaning you the money, or not loaning, is gifting you the money, or dad's gifting you the money, brother, sister, what have you, we don't want them to put the money in right away. Always contact us, ask us how to do it. We'll direct you. But generally, if you are getting a gift, we will tell you, and that's something that we would talk with you about in the initial process of the loan. So we know and you're prepared with your realtor on how to handle this. We will give you specific instructions for them to wire directly to escrow the funds that they're gifting to you. So if mom's gifting you $10,000 for your first time home, mom will wire her funds directly from her account to the escrow account. That way it makes it a little bit easier. There's no paperwork. If mom by chance gave you the funds ahead of time and you put them in your bank, that's fine too. A little bit more paperwork for us to do and for mom to do, but that's absolutely fine too. And we can talk with you about that as well.
So you actually answered her question before she asked it. She said, should I get the gift sent to me, then send it to escrow?
Easier to set for parent or family to send it directly to escrow. Otherwise, we do have to trace the funds, which basically means showing it go from family member's account to your account, and then from there forward, much easier just for family member to wire it into escrow directly.
Okay, that was the last question.
Yeah, perfect. Slide.
All right.
Okay, so closing your loan. So right now you wrote your offer, you got your deposit in, you're over here doing your inspections while lender's over here doing our part, getting your loan going. Everything is going through, and then all of a sudden we come through and we're meshing together. Everything looks great. Contingencies are removed. Your loan has underwriting approval. So then you're going to go ahead once you get your underwriting approval, and we're going to send you out a CD, which is your closing disclosure. Learned that earlier. And your CD is going to give you pretty much all your final information. What your rate is, again, what your payment is, what your escrow fees and loan fees are, your title fees, your attorney fees, depending on what state you're in. It's going to give you all of that information on there for you. You're going to go through and say, yes, this looks great. You're going to sign it. As Deb mentioned earlier, there is a 3-day waiting period. So once once you get that, you want to make sure that you sign your CD ASAP. I like that, CD ASAP. So that can start the time frame so that we can get you in line, to get your loan documents out. After those 3 days have passed, we are going to get your loan documents out to escrow. They do not go directly to you as the borrower. They go to escrow. Once escrow gets them, they're going to do what's called packaging them, which just basically means putting all your documents that you still need to sign together. And then you're either, depending on where you're at, you're either going to go in and sit around and meet everybody and sign everything, or escrow is going to send generally a traveling notary to you to sign everything. I know in Las Vegas, escrows prefer the borrowers come in and sign at escrow. So just depending on where you're at, we have Texas, they meet around the table, do it all together on the day of funding. Just depends where you're at on how that will go. Once your loan documents are signed, they come back to us as the lender, and then we go ahead and do what's called funding your loan, which means we provide the money for you to have the loan on the property. And then again, depending on where you are, if you're in Southern California, Los Angeles particularly, you have to wait one full day. They don't do like a recording special to record. So for example, if you fund on a Monday, you'll record it on a Tuesday. Other counties will do them simultaneously. Other counties will do them the same day. So depending on where you're looking, what state, what county, you're either going to fund and record the same day, which means you now own that home, or the one day and then the following day you'll record.
Okay, so one question Heidi asked, she says, would that be the same on all loan types? So we're going to go back to the gift, and I'm just going to answer quickly. The very easiest way to possibly get a gift, no matter what kind of loan that you are doing, is please, God Almighty, send the money directly to title, escrow, wherever it is going for whatever state that you're in. Yep. The other thing I do want to mention is that, as I said, Heidi's in Arizona, Carrie's in Tennessee, Cindy's in Idaho. We've got people everywhere, right? Kristen's in Texas. Yep. If you are in a state that is not an escrow state, every single time that Heather used the word escrow, interchange it with title. Because it's exactly the same thing. You're sending money to title, not to escrow. When title opens the transaction. The only difference being that some of the attorney states like Illinois, you will actually, with your attorney, seller's attorney, title company, will all go into the title office, sit around a table and sign together. So it does depend on where you are, but you can interchange the word escrow for title. Heather's just a California girl.
Well, and it's hard for me to say escrow, title, attorney, because then you start confusing. Right. But I know that, we had a client in Florida too, in Davenport, and that was an attorney, and the attorney handled everything. They were the title company. They were the attorney for it. So in that situation, I used the word attorney. So, but just not to confuse you, like, oh my gosh, I'm in California or Las Vegas and I have to have an attorney. No.
But you're even in like a Florida state where it is an attorney state, or Illinois where it's an attorney state, you will actually not be wiring your money to the attorney. The money is still going to the title company who is receiving the money. Believe it or not, even here in California, you are opening escrow. You have a neutral third party that is handling and taking instruction from all parties. But when you wire your money in, your wire is actually going to title.
Correct.
So,
And so that's super important. And that's it. Once you, depending on what state you're at, if you're all around the table, everybody shakes hands and keys pass and you get it there. If you're on the West Coast, generally what will happen is once you record, then recording means you own the home. Some people will say close escrow or close title. But once you record on the property, your agent will meet with you and give you the keys. It just depends on where you're at. And then the property is yours. Congratulations.
I think we did it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we did it. So we're going to take a super quick break so that Heather and I can actually switch seats. This is where we get into the final raffle as far as you guys being able to win your free appraisal if you do your financing through Mortgage Mom Radio. So everybody has to get ready. You guys have to be prepared. You have to have your phones or your computer so that you can get to kahoot.it. We will give you a code here in a second for you guys to log in, and we're going to switch, seats and have all that
It's
fun stuff.
super fun if you've never done it. Your kids probably have done it in school, or if you're in college, you've done it. I know I did in law school. It's super, super fun. So totally play it.
Yeah. So Mikey, go ahead and go to the link and get that all prepared so that they can see their login that they need to play. So you guys are going to go to kahoot.it, and your game pin is 256 4065. So make sure that you guys go ahead and load that up and sign in. So we're going to actually just leave it on that screen instead of going to a commercial. We're just going to leave it on that screen. We're going to load it up. We're going to walk away. We're going to switch seats. But this way, this gives everybody plenty of time to be able to get in and get loaded and sign in and get ready to play. So this is going to be a very fun game. We want everybody that has been here watching today with us. We want you guys to all play to get the chance to win the free appraisal. If you would prefer a Mortgage Mom Radio t-shirt, you don't want a free appraisal, I'm more than happy. I'll send you 2 of them. I'm more than happy to send you 2. So you get to select which one that you want. But yes, please, everybody go ahead and get on. We're going to give it just a second and then we'll get the question started.
Perfect.
Okay. So welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. This is our Homebuyer Workshop, and we will stick around after this game so that if anybody has any questions about anything we've talked about throughout the day, I will stay for as long as I need to make sure that you guys get every answer that you're looking for. But in the meantime, it looks like we still have some people that are jumping on and joining. So we are going to just wait another minute or so, and then we're going to get started. I did give a minute and 30 seconds for each question. I did that on purpose because the last time that we did this, I forgot that we were delayed. So not everybody got to see like the answer was already, it was showing the answer before they had even seen the question. So we are going to go very, very slow, make sure that the question stays up for a while so that everybody gets the opportunity to answer. So we're just going to give this like 30 more seconds and then we're going to go ahead and start the game. So just stay there. Don't go anywhere. If you haven't logged in yet to play, make sure that you guys log in to get ready. So here we go.
Heidi wants to know if we're going to give away wine glasses instead of an appraisal.
Well, if they want wine glasses, we can absolutely do that. I've got wine glasses. I have beer mugs. I have Mortgage Mom Radio t-shirts. So if they don't want the appraisal, I'd be more than happy to provide them with what they're looking for. We've got some good stuff. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we only have 8 people that want to play. So there's a pretty good chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's a pretty good chance that that you get a chance to win. So I know for a fact I made sure on purpose to put all of the answers to the questions today in the workshop. So you guys should know them. So are we ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. 75 pounds, 3 pounds, 140 pounds, 117 pounds. Okay, how we do? So I'm trying, and I'm sorry, you guys. That's why I'm like going like this. I'm trying to make sure that the game is coming up. Heather's got it on one phone. I have it on another phone, and I can see the game here. We are delayed, so I'm wanting to make sure that everybody gets a chance to answer the questions. So again, that's why I told Heather, I'm like, don't play the game, watch YouTube, because we need to be able to see that you guys could see
But
the
I know the
question with the
answer.
answer to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity. So definitely, it looks like we're at six answers. Come on, there's 2 more people. Come on, I said it. Doesn't she look like a cow, though? Like next to the pony?
Yeah, kind of.
I call her a cow. Maybe she's more of a pony.
She's a pony. She's rideable.
Yeah.
She's a rider.
Zeke probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't. We
No.
would hurt her, but
It would be funny.
yeah. She's actually a lot skinnier than she looks. A lot of that is hair.
Fur.
Yes.
Oh, they got it all right.
All right, so everybody got it. San Fran is in the first position. Nice. Let's move on to question number 2. All right, what is the fastest route to homeownership? Apply now for your roadmap, try to win the lottery, do nothing and hope for the best, or move back home with your parents.
Should we make a note that if they paused it at any time, that they want to make sure that they're live?
Yeah, they can hear you.
I know.
Talking to your mic.
Just make sure that if you've paused it at any time that you're actually live, so you're seeing the questions as they come up, even though we're a little delayed. Just make sure you're as live as can be. That way you'll see the questions quicker.
Yeah. So once again, what is the fastest route to homeownership? Apply now for your roadmap, try to win the lottery, do nothing and hope for the best, or move back home with your parents. I love it.
And we should mention Kahoot gives you points for faster you respond.
Yes. Yes. As fast as you respond, you go to the top of the list the quickest. Ooh, apply now for your roadmap. Look at that. 6 people got it right. 1 person got it wrong. Ooh, Gizmo's moving up. All right. I like it. I like it. All right. Here we go. Let's go. Number 3. How many days do you have to apply for your loan to receive your free appraisal up to $500? So actually, I did not tell you guys this, so don't answer yet. I'm going to give you the answer so that everybody gets it right. It is 7 days. So anybody at all that wants to apply for their pre-approval, a refinance, a home equity line of credit, if you apply with Mortgage Mom Radio between now, September 25th, and the next 7 days, so next Sunday, we will pay, we can't pay, but we will credit on your closing statement the cost of your appraisal. So it is 7 days. That is for anybody at all who has watched our workshop today with us live. If you're watching this at a later date, sorry, doesn't work. Just kidding. Call me. We'll talk about it. But we want to make sure that we give everybody the opportunity to get their appraisal covered. So if you do jump in within the next 7 days and you do apply for your loan, then we will make sure that we get you a credit for that. The appraisal that you guys are all working on right now is a free appraisal for any time. It could be a year from now and you guys apply for a loan and buy a property, then you guys that's going to hold true. We're going to keep that for you.
It's a sweet deal.
Yeah, I think so. All right, here we go. Oh, Gizmo stays in the lead. It looks like Lynn came up, which is good, and Nancy's right behind. All right, here we go. All but which of the following is a benefit of homeownership? Security, income tax savings, pride of ownership, homeownership, or paying your landlord's mortgage?
And we should say all but which.
Right,
So which
all but
one
which.
is not.
Yeah.
Those trick questions when you're in school.
Right? All but which of the following?
I like that house. I'm going to snap a picture of it. Is that what you kids call it, Mikey? Snap a picture.
All right, here we go. Almost. We're almost there. We're almost there. How many people are playing right now? Do we know? We had 8, right? We have 8 answers. Why doesn't it move forward?
I don't know.
All right, here we go. We paying your landlord's mortgage, all but which of the following is a benefit? So who are we at? Ooh, Gizmo's still at the top. Gizmo's still at the top. Here we go. Next one. All right. What is the minimum credit score for an FHA loan? So I did talk about this. Is it 560, 600, 580, or 620? So this one I did talk about in my workshop. We got 3 answers, 4 answers, 5 answers. We need 8. We need 8 to hit forward, to skip, to go faster. We got 7. We need 1 more. We need 1 more. Come on, number 8. Where you at? Give it your best shot. Go blue. Go blue. Go blue. You're the only one remaining. Okay, go ahead and skip, Mikey. Here we go. All right. Ooh, it's getting close. It's getting close. Lynn is like right behind Gizmo. All right, on to the next.
Diane came up.
Yep. All right, here we go. What is the minimum credit score for a USDA loan? So 620 or higher, 500 or higher, similar to other programs. No specific credit score. And that was on my slide. It was on my USDA slide. I don't know that I talked about it, but it was there. So if you guys were reading, we got 6. All right, let's go. We got 2 more to get. 7. We got 1 more. Okay, so whoever's out there, whoever our number 8 is that hasn't answered yet, pick green. No specific credit score. So although I am going to say this, that although USDA has no specific credit score that is required, we don't usually see that it will give us an approval through the computer system unless we are above like a 640. It supposedly we can go lower, but we haven't actually seen it happen. All right, here we go. Number 7. How do Debbie and Heather enjoy spending their weekends? Mani-pedis, shopping at Nordstrom Rack, boating in Lake Havasu, or tent camping in Yosemite? And just as a FYI, that's my boat in the picture. Just for fun. All right, we're at 6. Come on, we need 2 more answers so we can skip. Let's
I love
go.
when people say,
all right, they're at. We got 8.
Camping in Yosemite, because it's like, I have no idea how to put a tent up at home.
I know, I don't even know. I like those ones that just do it for you now, like the pop-up
Yeah,
ones.
it's where you just pull it out and just
Ooh, Nancy took the lead. Look at that. She went right
was
past
paying
Lynn.
attention.
Yes, she was. All right, here we go.
All
Number
right.
8. All right, is it okay to bring your dog with you during property tours? That would be a true or false. Now, the little one right there next to my big one, that's my Mary Jane. She's 13 years old. She's still kicking. She's still feisty. She's slowing down. But she is a sweetie. She's a little Cocker Spaniel. All right, so we got 4. Is it okay to bring your dog with you during property tours? We're at 6.
Now, I will say, if you're somebody who needs your dog as a therapy animal, then it would be okay. But the majority of the time, a lot of people...
We're not talking service animals. We're talking Mary Jane or Nana.
A lot of people don't realize that homeowners have dogs or cats, so it probably might not be the greatest idea to bring your dog, even if there's something that's in your arms, just for your safety and the homeowner's safety.
Yeah.
Everybody's.
Yeah. All right, we're at 8. Here we go. All right, false. Who's going? Ooh, Gizmo took it from Nancy. Ugh. All right, we got a couple more left.
It's a horse race.
It is a horse race. What is the minimum credit score for a conventional loan? 580, 620, 600, or 640? I said this one.
Mm-hmm.
I actually said this one out loud. It wasn't like USDA where it was on the slide. We got 4 answers. We got 5 answers. We got 6 answers. Let's go. 2 more.
There's 1 more.
One more.
If you haven't answered, we're waiting for you.
Go with yellow. The minimum credit score for a conventional loan is 620. Although you're not going to like the interest rate, but it is there. All right, go ahead and skip it, Mikey. All right, what do we got?
Nice.
Oh, Lynn, you took it last minute. Look at that. I love it. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. 10 out of 12, guys. What is the minimum down payment for an FHA loan? 3%, 3.5%, 5%, or 10%? Ooh, 3%, 3.5%, 5%, 10%. This is FHA. What is the minimum down payment for an FHA loan?
Oh, spread about the board a little bit.
It was spread out. Look at that. Where are we going? Lynn kept it. Look at her. She's just got 2 more.
Nice.
11 and 12. Here we go. What is the down payment for a VA loan?
Oh, good question.
0, 3%, 3.5%, 5%. Here we go. We got 2 in so far, 3 and 4 in. All right, 0. There we go. Who's got it? Where are we at? Whenever that you decide that you are going to buy, refinance, or do a loan application with us. Everybody else that joined us today, thank you so much. I am going to go back to the chat. So Mikey's going to take us back to the normal screen. And that way, if there are any additional questions that are left or remaining, I will make sure that I answer those for you now. If you apply for your loan within the next 7 days. I don't care if it's a pre-approval and you plan to buy in a year from now. If you apply for your loan within the next 7 days, you will get a free appraisal from us. We will make sure that we give you a credit to cover the cost of your appraisal when you go through escrow and you are working with Mortgage Mom Radio. So let's see, what have we got here? Let's see how our questions are coming along. We've got Nancy says, congrats, Lynn. Heather had said, yes, we have wine. Okay, so I was missing some of the stuff. So, and then Heidi says, hi, Jackie. I'm so glad you are on. So I'm not sure who she was talking to. I missed all of that part while you were doing your piece.
Yeah.
But again, if you guys have any further questions, I'll sit here for a minute, see if anybody asks any more questions in the feed. But if not, I hope you guys really did enjoy it. If you didn't, I know we've had consistently, we've had about 30 to 35 people on throughout the whole thing, and we've got like eight thumbs up. So if everybody could please take a moment for me and give us the thumbs up, that would truly help this. It does help us keep bringing you guys this free education. Once again, we really do ask that you guys call us first. We want to be your first call. We want to be your consult, and we want to have the opportunity to work with you and help you. We are here to do anything that we can by any means necessary to make sure that you have the education that you need. You don't feel lost. You don't feel excited throughout the transaction in a bad way excited. We want you to feel in a good way excited. We want you to be, you just can't wait to get in the home. It's exciting. It's fun. We don't want everybody, we don't want you to feel overwhelmed, like you don't understand what is happening. Heidi gets on. She says, great information. Carrie says, thank you for all the information. You're amazing. Nancy says, thank you and Heather for all the great information. Nancy gives us a thumbs up. So it sounds like everybody is saying goodbye. With that, we're going to sign off. We made it. We did it in exactly 3 hours. I was hoping to possibly do it a little bit sooner, but we hope that we gave you guys some really detailed stuff. So again, have a great day. Have a great rest of your weekend. And if you guys would like to get your application started, go to our website, go to mortgagemomradio.com. There's a big apply button on the top of the page, and you guys can go ahead and start there. If you want your consult, there's an appointment button that you can click on, select a day and time that works for you. And if you just want to give us a call, we'd love for you to do that as well. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844. We lend for you. WELEND and the number 4. We'll talk to you guys all real soon. We'll be back again maybe 6-8 weeks from now. Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. pick up the phone and call mom.